Hey, we're here. We're live. Hello.
Hello.
Hello there. We're here. We're doing the thing.
Huh? What?
Huh?
What? Huh?
Sorry, huh?
Where?
What?
Huh? What? Where?
Where? We survived the Snowmageddon. Turns out it was
for
just snow.
A lot of it.
It was a lot
Yeah,
of it.
Too much.
It wasn't a full foot, which means I didn't have to jump into the backyard with shorts on.
I forgot that you said that.
Yeah, it was like 8 inches. It wasn't like a full
You could
foot.
have gotten away with it if it was.
I could have.
I don't know. I had like a foot of snow in front of my house.
Well, aren't you special?
It sucked.
All right, so yeah, we are here. We are live. We're going to do the thing. The thing being a very cool show. Yeah, preamble. That's what we're
Yeah.
good at here. Yeah, let's wake
You
up.
got you, bud.
We got to do this. High energy. We got a high energy show coming at you today. Yeah. So yes, we're here. We have Cyber Lansbury in the corner. Cyber Lansbury
Solving cyber murders.
solving the cyber murders.
in the
Murder she did.
Murder. She.
blogged.com.
Blogged. Yes, murder she blogged. I like it. I like it. All right, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this thing here. You know, I usually have a preamble before, but I'm not going to say it today. Who cares? If you type something in the chat, we'll get to it when we get to it. We got to try to make this. Well, I said I wasn't going to do the preamble, and then
then you
immediately
did it.
did the preamble. Never mind. You'll figure it out.
We are creatures of habit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, we do this like every week, so everything is.
Just about every week. Yeah. Yeah.
More often than not.
More often. I like that. I like that. More often than not. Excuse me. All right. Well,
I did not stream at all this week.
I didn't either.
I don't know why.
I barely played video games this week.
I was rebuilding the studio behind us. It was a job.
It looks good though.
Well,
I like
thank
it
you.
a lot.
Thank you. I rearranged some pictures on the walls. I put some more stuff up. We have lights behind us that are currently blowing out the camera, but that's whatever. But yeah, we're here. We're doing it.
I did work on my little game show project.
Oh, you did? Oh,
The
cool.
other day.
Cool. Were you able to implement those faces that
I
we gave
actually
you?
just ended up drawing.
Oh,
I
okay.
said I didn't want to, but then ended up I did. But I did use those faces as kind of a base.
As a base.
for
Okay.
my pixel art.
Nice.
So
I like it. I
I
like
did-
it.
Base. The base.
I did pixel art both of your faces to put on the characters.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to this game show thing you're working on. It's going to be great.
The playable characters I drew just like a jumpsuited body that you can slap different heads
Onto.
on.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's
So
a very good
like
idea.
a me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
works.
And we'll talk about that later on too. Me's and stuff, I guess. Yeah.
And use.
Yeah. And use. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, who has an intro for the show? Not it. Oh, actually, I should probably be recording.
Oh, that
we
might
haven't
help.
even checked the levels yet.
actual. Yeah, we haven't even
done-
checked
we
the
haven't-
levels.
Oh,
Oh, hello. Whoa, wait. Okay, there we go. Okay, mine's looking pretty good.
Heyo, everybody. Well, hopefully I'll keep this level of volume the whole show. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Heyo, testing levels. My voice sounds like Dookie.
There we go. So I need to bring us all about. Okay, yeah, I think we're good here. I think we're good. I think we're doing it.
What's that thing?
What
It's a
thing?
light.
That thing.
It's a light.
That's a light. I
Oh.
just haven't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's
I don't know if we need it or not, but I have it. The old Temu special, $8 for a studio light.
That thing might kill my good eye. No, I'm serious.
It's not that bright.
Oh, okay.
I plugged it in, and it's not that bright.
All right.
All right.
On a scale from like old light bulb in an attic to LED headlight on a car.
It's Temu.
It's not old silent movie arc light that blasts you, makes you blind.
I'll tell you what. Do you remember these small lights I have here?
Yeah.
It's like that, but bigger, and with less controls on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watched a whole YouTube video the other day about lighting in old movies.
Oh, really?
And because the old film they used was blue light based.
Mm.
They had to just blast so much light in
I
there.
believe it.
Well, yeah, that's why I like when you're watching like old TV shows and stuff. You see how much people are sweating from like the stage lights because they're just so bright and hot.
Mm-hmm.
They had lights that were like two rods with electricity arcing between the two rods to generate this blue light.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Like
How far we've come.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it was so bright that it would like annihilate a layer of moisture on their eyeballs and give them a certain kind of like conjunctivitis like eye problem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
All for the moving pictures.
Yeah.
And the silver paint in The Wizard of Oz about killed the actor.
Yeah. The first guy that they cast.
Yeah, the first guy.
Yeah, Buddy Ebsen. Yeah.
Buddy Epstein.
Buddy Epsom salts.
Not my buddy pal.
All right. Yeah, intro time. Do we have one?
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that survived the snowstorm of 2026, and hopefully also the one that we're supposed to get this weekend.
Oh boy!
I'm pretty sure I heard that. I don't like
No,
that.
I don't like that
no.
intro.
Plus
I don't like
that-
that intro.
Plus, that's like next week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was next week. Never mind. And it's just like going back to the same well we did
From last week. Yeah, we got to get
I
something
don't
else.
like that.
Yeah.
I think I got something.
All right.
Hello, and you're watching. Oh shit, not watching.
I already know what you're trying to do.
And
I don't know if it's going to be a good intro.
Probably not.
It's
Probably not.
not listenable. Tomodachi. I like the energy. I don't think it's going to work.
Nah, unless I actually pull up an actual text-to-speech on my
Yeah,
phone.
yeah.
And I did that bit 1,000 years ago.
Oh, you did, right.
Oh yeah,
All right.
the intro bot 5000.
Yeah.
Oh, I
do
forgot
remember
about that.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yep.
poo.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that's going to talk about some new Nintendo game about toes and dog cheese.
Yeah, something like that. Can't wait.
That's terrible. I hate that.
Oh man. How long has it been since we had trouble coming up with an intro?
I think.
This used to be a problem.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's because we're caring a little more right now than we normally do.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling so burnt out today. I can't. Toes and dog cheese life. It's a good joke, but it's kind of a lot to hit somebody who's just tuning into the show with.
You know what? Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, where the burnout is real. I'm Sam.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Cody, I guess.
I guess.
Nailed it.
We have a great show for you this week. Thank you all for tuning in. We have a bunch of news to go over, but first let's talk about some things we have been checking out.
Check it out!
The intro was short and sweet, to the point, gets the message across.
Does the little box not work anymore?
I need to fix it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, so some things we've been doing this week.
Did we get muted while the song plays?
No,
Okay, so that burp might have picked up.
that burp might have picked up.
Fun.
In fact, it actually most likely did get picked
Cool.
up.
I mean, I burped away from the mic at least.
You turned your head away from the mic to
Yeah,
take a
to-
breath,
to
to
take
take
a
a burp.
burp.
Yeah. All right,
Tasted
so
like frozen pizza.
And
delicious.
chocolate rain.
Nice. All right, so things we've been doing. Do you guys have something? I usually go first, but you guys go. Do a thing.
I mean, I spent a lot of my day today playing Perfect Tides Station to Station, a sequel to the original Perfect Tides, which is a point-and-click adventure game by Meredith Gran, who
Okay.
used to do the Octopus Pie webcomic.
I was going to say, I recognize the name.
And the Marceline and the Scream Queens comic
Yes.
book.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The first Perfect Tides was a point and click game where you kind of like lived a year in the life of a teenage girl named Mara Whitefish who lives on an island somewhere, and it just like very much puts you in her shoes, and you see every bit of her life from a time when you were having big feelings.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And it's like really intimate and like it just feels real and raw and like emotional. And this new one takes place a couple years later when she's a freshman in college, when you're having different kinds of big feelings.
Big feelings, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And she wants to become a writer. So you're balancing like her day-to-day life and her schoolwork and her writing.
Oh.
It's a very interesting system where like the books that you pick up and find and read affect her knowledge on different topics that let her write better papers about things she has more knowledge on.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
it's not just books too, just like looking at stuff in the world or experiencing things.
Well, everything like influences you, like
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
really fascinating. Yeah.
And that affects how good her papers are or her writing for different stuff. I don't know exactly how much of it like affects the ending in the end or the choices you make,
But it makes for an interesting gameplay loop.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. No, that sounds really cool. What is it on? Is it just Steam or is it
I think it's just Steam, but the original game ended up on the Switch too, so that'll
Okay.
be there
Probably
probably
will.
eventually if it's not already.
Gotcha.
It weirdly came out on the same day as the anniversary of the David Bowie album, Station to Station.
Oh, yeah.
Not on purpose.
Really?
It just happened
Just
to
happened
happen
to.
that way.
Wow. Weird.
Yeah.
Wow, the universe is weird.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
But
there you
it's
go.
a good game, and it made me have big
Big
thoughts,
feelings.
big thoughts and big feelings
Yeah.
about life.
Well, right on. Right on. You know what? I'll go ahead and do mine.
Wait a minute, there's a couple
ahead.
more
Yes,
things.
yes, go
there
for
was
it.
a part where she's having a big breakup conversation with somebody, and a heart meter appears
Oh.
on screen that kind of shows how good you're doing in the conversation.
Oh,
so
that's
it like
interesting.
visualizes how it uses video game terminology to visualize how this social situation is
Oh.
going.
Man, I wish we had that in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
In a very interesting and innovative kind of way. And also there's another part where you're doing karaoke with somebody to Bohemian Rhapsody, but of course it doesn't have the song in the game.
Of course. Sure.
It tells you that like the DJ comes up to you, the player on the other side of the screen, and says, "I forgot to bring it, but surely you have it.
Oh.
Go cue it up." And when they sing the fan in fantasy, press this button. And if you do it correctly, there's a whole animated sequence to Bohemian Rhapsody that is incredible.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really, really clever. Clever way to get around that that
Yeah.
limitation. That's fantastic.
Should have
Wow.
been Princes of the Universe. That's a joke for us.
That's a joke for us. Yes, yes. A joke I made earlier today.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we forgot to put that on the list too.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. So am I good to go ahead and start?
Yeah.
mine
Yeah, go
real
ahead,
quick?
go.
Okay, so as you all know, I'm a purveyor of bad movies. I love bad movies. I've watched
mean,
a lot of bad
The
movies.
Riff Tracks channel on my TV has not shut off.
Yeah.
When I left the house today, when I got home from work today, it was a black and white Gamera movie.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. But I mean, like the bad stuff, like
I watched
Neil
a little
Breen.
bit of the Riff Tracks Gumby on
Oh.
their Twitch
Oh, really?
channel the other day.
Nice.
That
Gumby,
the Gumby movie,
like the old one.
from 1994.
Yeah.
I think Gumby movie.
Oh, I probably watched that when I was a kid. I don't remember it
so
though.
weird and dated, and then you learn it came out the same year as Toy Story, and it just like
Oh,
your
yeah.
brain melts. It's like, how did this happen? How did
Yes.
this get made?
How did this happen? Yeah.
Because it feels like it came out in 1954.
Like most Gumby stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. But speaking of films that you sit and go, how and why did this get made? I plumbed the depths of classic comic book superhero films
Oh no.
and discovered the 1996 Vampirella movie
Oh.
starring Talisa Soto.
That movie
Everyone-
is garbage.
Yes, who most people would know as Katana from the first Mortal Kombat movie. I guess she was in Mortal Kombat Annihilation as well.
Yeah.
But she's-
and now it is now your turn
The worst.
to die.
Yes.
The worst Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah, or the best. Depends on your,
It's the best at being the worst.
yes. But Vampirella, that movie sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Do you get it? Because vampires?
Yeah.
But seriously, it's terrible. Don't watch it.
Sci-Fi Channel used to play the
Oh,
hell
it
out of that
is so.
movie.
Oh, it's so bad. And
Like between like that and like I think USA or TNT playing the barbed wire movie.
oh, sure, yeah, barbed wire, yeah. But no, this movie it has it all. It has the planet Draculon, where the vampires come from.
Of course.
It has Roger Daughtry of The Who as Vlad, aka Jamie Blood, a lounge singer in Las Vegas. The whole movie takes place in Las Vegas, by the way. The whole thing.
Naturally.
Naturally, of course. That's where the vampires are.
What is with like the West in having like vampire stories?
This one is set in Las Vegas because everyone just wanted to drink and gamble while they were on set.
I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, this movie has astronauts coming back from Mars and a bad CGI bat flying out of a spaceship. The two astronauts, by the way, John Landis, real actual John Landis, and one of our personal favorite bad movies, Chopping Mall. We have Tiny Face.
Chopping Mall rule.
He likes
Chopping-
pepperoni.
Chopping Mall does rule.
Chopping Mall rules. Well, the movie was Vampirella, both that and Chopping Mall were directed by Jim Wynorski, and it was a Roger Corman. It was a Corman production. This movie, and
I think I knew that.
oh boy, the CG was bad. The costume wasn't correct. It just looked like they went to an S&M store and bought like the first red pleather.
I mean, to be fair, her comic costume
It's
looks
kind
like
of
that.
kind of
it's
impossible.
kind of impossible, but they didn't even try.
They'd have to do just like body paint, liquid latex.
Right, yeah. Talisa Soda, I'm sure she is a wonderful human being. I'm sure she's a very nice person. She can't act her way out of a paper bag. Things just kind
It
of...
might also be the material.
It could also be the material, but it's like there was nothing. There's nothing to it. They just go to a scene, and then people talk, and then they go to another scene, and then there's just talk. And mind-boggling how poor
How
the
you
film
can
is.
take a concept like Vampirella and do that bad, I don't know.
Beautiful space vampire comes to Earth and hunts other vampires. It seems like a home run.
Yeah, sounds like a winner.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels kind of like what's that movie called?
Life Force.
No, no.
No, you're not thinking of Life Force, the one with
No.
the space vampires.
I've seen that. That's a Tobe Hooper movie.
It is.
I've seen that.
I
movie.
was gonna make a joke about Highlander 2.
Oh, where they're not Highlanders, immortals. They're actually
They're
criminals
aliens.
from an alien space planet. Yeah.
Speaking of Roger Corman, I did recently watch the Deathstalker reboot.
Oh, you did.
Yes.
How was it?
Pretty good.
I have it pulled up. I have it on my list.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good?
It's not what's that guy Steven Kortansky?
Mhm.
It's not his best movie. I would say it's probably one of his least good.
Oh, really?
But it's still fun.
I mean, when you make movies like was it Frankie Frico?
Frankie Frico
and Psycho Gorman.
Psycho Gorman.
Yeah.
My hunky boys. I'm sorry. That is gonna live rent free in my head forever.
That's a fantastic movie. I love Psycho Gorman
Yeah.
and Frankie Frico. They're like two of my most favorite movies.
We have weird tastes.
That's all right though.
Deathstalker was just pretty good.
Yeah.
His great monster design and all the fun puppetry and stuff that he does is enough to carry the whole thing.
Okay, good. But anyway, to wrap it up, Vampirella, while watching it, it committed the mortal sin of being boring. Like, if it were stupid, it would be great. But it's just boring.
It's a bad movie that's also boring.
And also, while watching it, I spontaneously had stomach cramps, like while watching it.
Oh, that's what you were talking about.
And while I'm pretty sure it was because I ate a lot of really spicy food last night and it was getting its revenge on me, I'd like to think that the film was making me physically ill.
No, you just spent so much time with Vampirella that your cycles synced up. You were experiencing cramps at the same time as her.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yes. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Cody. My brother in Christ. I think you just short-circuited my brain.
All right. So, Josh, what have you been doing?
That's a very good question. Let's see. I watched last week's episode of Primal. Continues to be watch the zombie caveman walk.
Okay.
And then him getting in a scuffle with some kind of monster. He fell into a cave full of little blind guys that are cannibals or meat eaters or whatever. Yeah, whatever.
More primal. Yeah.
More primal. Though it feels like he's getting more cognitive.
Okay. Of his. Okay, well, that's cool. So
like
there's
he's
some
more,
progression.
like he's
Sure.
kind of like, I don't know, relearning how to person.
How
I
to
guess.
caveman.
Yeah, how to caveman.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still not going to say it's bad. It's definitely not as good as the last two seasons, but how can you really top what was already pretty amazing? Mm-hmm. But, I mean, by the end of it, I'll probably say, like, okay, I loved it, but so far,
One of those that you have to get through the whole series.
yeah,
to
I'm
appreciate.
still kind of like, I don't know, mildly confused on why. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Gendy, and I'll eat up anything he makes, but at the same time, I'm like, was this really that necessary?
I saw you playing the Animal Crossing the other day on the Switch.
I mean, I'm on Animal Crossing about every night.
How's the new update?
I could have sworn I've talked about this with you.
No.
I don't think
no.
so.
Okay, so the 3.0 update of Animal Crossing New Horizons. A lot of quality of life increases that make things a lot easier. Like, not having to pick hundreds of flowers on my island that the flowers have just taken over like it's the happening.
I like that when you're building things, it automatically accesses your storage, so you don't have to go in, open your storage, get 10 pieces of wood out, and then make the thing. You could just walk up to the thing and just make whatever you want.
That only works if you're on your home island.
Yes. And that's fine.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, especially with all the crafting stuff you got to do for the hotel to get hotel tickets. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah.
It's so nice. And plus, you can craft multiple things at once.
Yep.
Well, multiples of the same item at once.
Right.
As long as you have the materials.
What do you think of the hotel thing?
It's all right. It's fun. It's a nice little time waster kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I haven't unlocked the classic Nintendo stuff in the shop yet.
I haven't either.
You have to... I'm trying to remember what you got to do. You got to build up all the rooms, or at least the first 8 or whatever, 'cause then you can go back and redecorate and whatnot and choose a new theme and stuff. But you also have to... Oh, shoot.
Beat Mario in a death match.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. So there's some hoops you have to jump through.
Yeah,
in order
there's
to
some
unlock,
hoops. I looked it up the
other
other day,
stuff.
and for the life of me, I can't remember.
It's just the same stuff that you can play on the Switch Online, so what's even the point?
It feels like it's more for players who I'm sorry, I'm jumping in on your.
No,
on
you're
your
fine.
checkup.
You're fine.
But it feels like it's the DLC, the paid DLC light for people who are on the fence about getting the DLC.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
the
here's
happy home. Yeah,
the happy home thing, instead of having every character in the game that you can make a house for, an island home for. It's like, okay, here are 8 rooms that we're going to give you the tools to make the thing, and if you want more, well, there's a DLC right here.
Yeah, but if you have Nintendo Online, you get the DLC.
You get
for
it for free, right?
So, I mean,
I actually really like the Dream Island stuff.
I have not really played with the Dream Island stuff. I have been seeing a lot of posts of people who've been goofing around with it.
It's the same thing that they had in the 3DS game.
Yeah.
But no, Jordan and I have had a lot of fun remotely, working on one island together. And
Well, yeah, you guys have always had a house on each other's islands, kind of thing.
well, she has her own game now, so she doesn't
Oh,
anymore. But no,
okay.
we do the Dream Island thing, and you can buy a bunch of pitfall seeds and trick your friends into falling into holes, which I do constantly.
I mean, what's the point of an online cozy game if you can't troll your friends? Sorry, I am having trouble focusing today. I don't know what's going on.
We're all like kind of
Yeah,
Scatterbrain today.
scatterbrain today, yeah.
high energy.
Man, we can't even get the word scatterbrain out.
All right.
But
Scooter Brand.
Scooterbrand. Yeah, Scooterbrand.
Yeah.
But I know I like it. The quality of life stuff, like I said, is really, really nice. Like, yeah, it's a little expensive to have Rossetti, do stuff after your first, free taste.
Yeah.
I'm just glad they brought him back.
Yeah.
Although I missed when he was mean.
Yeah.
Made you type out exact words that he yelled at you.
Yes. Yeah. But no, I like the DLC too. It's given me an excuse to go back and play for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty much what
That's
I
all
do.
you need to
I
do.
get on, I dig up my fossils or whatever. I find my message in a bottle on the beach.
Mm-hmm. Sting's there. He sings it. It's a good song.
Yeah.
Message in a bottle.
Careful, we don't need another cease and desist.
Hey, if you're saying that I sound like Sting, I'm taking that as a compliment, man. If we get DMCA because I sound too much like Sting,
You think
great, bring it on.
Don't make me call the police.
Oh.
you think they'll ever put the GameCube Animal Crossing on the Switch Online?
That would be really interesting. I don't know if the only reason I would say no is, will the Switch Online, like, free games, will it have the clock system integrated? Because it would need the clock system.
Yeah, I don't know. Though I did see a rumor floating around the internet the other day that the next Animal Crossing will be a more urban themed one, kind of like in the past.
It's
Like a
City
city life
was.
or something, yeah.
Yeah. And that's fine.
I mean, that would be interesting.
Sure.
It would be different than the last couple have been.
Which were kind of like desert island kind of things, yeah.
Mhm. Although I do like the island aesthetic.
I mean, I do, but I am getting a little burnt out on the island aesthetic myself.
Oh, speaking of Animal Crossing, my niece, my soon-to-be 8-year-old niece,
How's that make you feel?
old. It makes me feel very old. Who loves coming over and playing the Street Fighter machine every time she's over at the house.
Raising them right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I let her get close to winning, but
You can't let them have it.
you can't let them have it. They you gotta learn. No, she has gotten way into Animal Crossing. She has the phone version, like the
Pocket Camp.
The Pocket Camp. They bought her the
Well, the new version of Pocket Camp, because the old one's dead.
the one that was just $10, and now you just get everything. And the Lego sets. She has been losing her mind over the Lego sets.
I've thought about it too, because I kind of want a little Lego Isabel.
But
we have a couple of. I bought Samantha a couple of them, but she has not built them.
I got my niece the city center, and it was like the city center and a couple of trailer van, like trucks,
The
and a couple
camper
other things.
van,
Yeah.
from the
camper van.
from the park stuff.
Yeah. And she Absolutely loved it. Put them all together in like one day.
Nice.
Like, yeah. She's 7 or 8. I think she's 8.
The children yearn for the islands.
They do. Yes.
You have the Isabel in the house, and then the Celeste, the little one.
Oh yeah, the one with that does the stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like having Brewster on my island again.
Mm-hmm.
I try to get over there to him every day because sometimes when you're leaving,
Because you're addicted to pigeon milk.
man, the first time he asked me if I wanted pigeon milk in my coffee, I almost selected the no option, but I didn't want to be mean to Brewster. And then I sat there and I thought about it. I'm like, he's a pigeon.
That's
Where
his,
does it come
It's
from?
his milk. It's his
Yeah.
milk. Yeah.
Milk.
Milk. Yeah.
But no, it's fine. It's Animal Crossing. It's more just Animal Crossing. And I forgot how much stuff I did not do in Animal Crossing since the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Though, I did find in the creator design stuff, somebody had made a little thing you can put on. They put it on the light up sign you can get.
Oh sure, yeah.
You know how like how we had the old studio and had the on air.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Animal Crossing studio is still
In your house?
in my Animal Crossing house. Yes, I'll have to bring that back sometime.
Yeah, but I put it on the sign and it lights up, but it looks like the ghost of a roach
Oh, really?
inside a case.
Nice.
It's like I've got like a pet ghost roach.
Excellent.
Very adorable, actually. It was very well done. I saw a post about it online. And I had to go search it out immediately. I'm like, I need that.
Nice.
Also, the Zelda stuff is really good.
I haven't unlocked any of the Zelda stuff yet. I need to.
It's really good.
Sounds like somebody's VTuber concept. Ghost Roach.
Ghost Roach? Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Ghost Roach Girl.
Time out. I'm going to cough really, really hard. There we go. They got it out of there.
God. Now I'm just thinking about a bug girl VTuber.
There is,
I'm sure there are.
Matara Khan, her model is really great.
Yeah.
Roach. She's a Roach VTuber.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm just picturing the roach from SpongeBob sitting at the little table eating a little Krabby Patty.
All right. Well, hey, let's go ahead and switch gears and get into our news. All right. Do we want to pause for a minute and run an ad or
Yeah, do
anything
the
like
ad.
that?
Yeah, do an
Okay,
ad.
let's go ahead and run the ad.
There's Matara Khan.
Of course, she's a big booby, half naked anime girl.
You know, YouTube is still going to hear us saying, yeah, big booby anime
that's
YouTube
like
girl.
that's like the least.
Okay, that's fine.
It's a good month. It's a
I'm
good monster design.
not saying
Yeah.
it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's definitely
It's
monster.
It is what it is.
It's monster Coomer bait.
Sure.
it's pretty tame.
It-
Oh yeah, yes.
Comparatively, yes. it
Yeah,
is
comparatively
pretty
to
tame.
other things I've seen, yes.
Yeah.
There was something I was gonna say, and now I have freaking lost it. I hate it.
It's all right. It's one of those days.
I know. Also, I think I hate the gyroids.
Oh, yeah?
They're always like,
There was like,
I have found so many,
mm-hmm.
and I have like 100 colors of each one, and they're all just sitting in my storage.
Do you set them out and put some music,
I know.
and they will play along with it? It's freaking awesome.
you put them in your basement. You put as many as you can in your basement.
Uh-huh.
But my basement is where my dinosaur fossil stuff is, because I have the dirt walls and the fossil floor.
Oh,
I'm
gotcha.
just glad they brought the gyroids back. There's a
Yeah.
couple games they just
They
weren't
just weren't
in.
there.
Because
Yeah.
they used to be where you saved your game.
Yeah.
And then you have the villager Coco, who is a gyroid bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have that card at home.
Speaking of the cards, do you still have my lucky?
Yeah, he's at home.
card?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need
Are you
to.
still using it?
Brandy just unlocked him.
Okay.
I'm thinking about. I'm gonna probably put him on my own too.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. No rush.
I don't understand why he's afraid of mummy masks.
Because he's a mummy.
He is a mummy. Why would he be afraid of it?
I don't.
Weird.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing's weird.
It's a psychiatric issue.
Yeah.
Self-loathing.
Also, the fact that one of his alternate names in another country is Ramses.
Nice.
They should have just kept it that way.
Yeah.
The man in gauze.
The man in gauze.
Yeah. Oh,
It's Hush, the Animal Crossing villager.
Speaking of Animal Crossing cards and amiibo cards, they are doing packs of the season 2 Street Fighter 6 characters
As cards?
as cards. I picked one up thinking, okay. I picked it up online thinking, oh, so they just put the second season in a pack, because the first season was all like, it was like 36 cards in one thing. It was the entire first season, a starting roster. No, they come 3 to a pack random.
Oh, that sucks.
And there's like 20 some odd you have to collect.
Evil.
It's awful. I mean, I did pull a Terry Bogard from King of Fighters first time through, which was nice.
Buster Wolf!
But I'm going to have to go on eBay, and I'm going to have to go through and play that whole game again like I did with the Animal Crossing cards. Find the rare one, I got my first pack had a Rashid, and it's only $3. It's like $5.99 for 3 cards.
Oh, that's gross.
So like $2 a card. Yeah, it's like
not even Wizard of the Coast rakes you that bad.
No, it was really bad. I got a Rashid, a Blanca, and Terry Bogard. So
Rashid.
Rashido. That was his theme song from Street Fighter V.
Ah.
Yeah. Let's see. Larian says, build 50 DIYs to donate.
Right, that's right.
So
That's what it was. I knew it was
Nintendo
50
thing.
something.
She said days and then DIYs, stupid autocorrect. So. And then, or he has been in so many accidents, he now is bandaged like a mummy. That's lucky. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
why he's lucky.
He's lucky. Yeah.
Because he's not. That's just mean.
Yeah.
It's like calling a big guy tiny.
So, where on the list do we want to start the news? Do we start with a sad thing with the Catherine O'Hara thing and get it out of the way, and then do positive things for the rest of the show?
That sounds
Because
good.
I do not want to end on
A downer.
hey, this celebrity died and it's really sad. Time to end the show. No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Let's do the sad thing first.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too into
And
it
then
because we don't talk about celebrity deaths that often.
And we can go down the list from there.
From there. Okay, sounds good. All right, let's talk about some news, and I think we're going to start off with kind of a bummer and build ourselves up to happy stuff as the show progresses. There is a method to the madness. This was actually breaking news at day of recording. Comedic actress Catherine O'Hara passed away. She was 71. Great, hilarious, funny actress.
Just so effortlessly
effortlessly funny,
Just
yes.
so genuinely hilarious.
Yes. Most of our generation would probably have seen her first as Kevin McAllister's mom in Home Alone.
Or Lydia Dietz's mom in Beetlejuice.
And Beetlejuice. Most recently, she was on Schitt's Creek, the name of a show that I can say on radio because it's the name of a show.
What it's called.
It's what it's
spelled
called.
Not how.
It's
not
not
like
how.
Swear.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's really, really sad. It's actually kind of a weird, I guess, ironic thing. I guess until I watched Vampirella for my check 'em out, I had watched Best in Show, one of the Christopher Guests.
Yes, the
I was about to talk
mockumentaries.
about that one. Yeah, she was in all 3 of his major mockumentaries. Great, funny actress. Second City, SCTV from Canada.
Yep.
Moira Rose is such an iconic role too.
She
That's-
yeah.
Oh my
It
god.
is. Yeah, so it's a bummer, and she had a lot of
She revolutionized
Yeah.
the way people will say baby.
yeah, yeah,
Or just people screaming Kevin.
yeah. No, that shot is in my brain permanently. That Kevin. Yeah.
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 That's one that always that crash zoomed to her face. And,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll be missed. It's a real bummer.
Oh, in the dinner scene from Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice, the Deo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, she was in Beetlejuice 2 or Beetlejuice, I guess. Whatever.
I still have not
way you-
seen that.
I still haven't watched it either. I'm a
I've heard
bad boy.
It's a solid 7.5. is what I would say.
You know what?
That's kind of why I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
That's kind of a fair shake.
It doesn't make you go, Beetlejuice, but it makes you go, that could have been a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get excited about watching a movie that you know afterwards you're gonna be like, that was fine.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine, is what I would say. But again, it doesn't ruin the franchise.
That's how I felt about every episode of Stranger Things I've watched so far.
Of this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
fine.
fine.
I'm
Yeah.
still not caught up. I'm still on season 3.
Wow.
I just started.
Got some work to do.
I just started watching it for the first time at Halloween.
And you're still on season 3? How dare?
Well,
What kind of fan are you?
I wasn't.
I think the whole thing's just gonna add up to being like, it was a thing.
So I'll do my quick rundown just to get this off my chest. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. It does tell a good story, but it's definitely not the earth-shattering, amazing thing that people built it up to me.
Oh no.
That were like,
No.
you need to watch it. You'd love it. I'm like, it's fine.
It's the horror television series equivalent of, hey, you're into nerd stuff. You're gonna love Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even go. I wouldn't even just.
I mean,
I wouldn't besmirch it that much.
No, I don't mean.
'Cause I hate Big Bang
that's-
Theory.
I don't mean
Yeah.
as like, but like when people who aren't in the
In the know.
zeitgeist of pop culture like we are say, oh, you love this show.
It's like you like The Simpsons, you're gonna love Family Guy.
Right. Yeah. Same exact thing. But okay, so
She will be missed.
She will be missed. Absolutely. Moving on to happier things. You know what? This came out last week, but we didn't get a chance to talk about
I
it.
don't know how we missed it.
Yeah, the Super Mario Galaxy movie trailer. A full trailer.
Yeah, there
believe
was-
it or not.
You know what? It came out on Sunday.
It was on Sunday.
It was on
That's
Sunday.
why.
That's
yeah, it was
why.
on Sunday.
See,
Yeah.
we didn't miss it.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nintendo hosted a direct on Sunday
9 a.m. on
at
a
9
Sunday.
a.m. on a
Yeah.
Sunday. That was a jeez. For the Mario Galaxy full trailer, the sequel to the Mario movie,
Super Mario Brothers movie.
It
Yes.
was the big reveal of Yoshi.
Sure.
which we already kind of knew because the after credits scene was Yoshi
Yeah.
in the last one.
And they didn't go in the direction I thought. They didn't stunt cast him as like Kevin Hart or something.
Oh man, can you imagine?
Oh, that would have been terrible.
But they also like it's a different voice. It's a different
a little
sounding
different.
Yoshi.
Yeah.
But they didn't say who it is,
I'm sure it'll be a big reveal.
which
What if it's
Probably
just
Vin Diesel.
yeah.
God,
like
no.
they did with Groot or
Yeah.
the
Okay,
Iron Giant.
Okay, if you couldn't tell that Groot or the Iron Giant wasn't Vin Diesel, I got some problems.
You know he's in The Fifth Element?
What?
Yeah. His voice is in The Fifth Element.
He's the third element.
Yeah, right, yeah. No, there's like at the very beginning, Bruce Willis, total aside, he is a, taxi driver, space taxi driver, and his buddy Finger is telling him he needs to bring his thing
The
into
car
shop.
back, yeah.
The car back. That's Vin Diesel.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Huh.
Yes, it is. Anyway.
Fresh off the Street Sharks tour, I guess.
Yeah. Street Sharks! Hand Sharks! Oh, I love that ad.
Anyway.
But if they're not gonna stunt cast it, and they're not gonna say who it is, why didn't they just use the same Yoshi sounds they have been using for the last 20 years?
I honestly didn't really notice that much of a difference.
Oh, it's really different.
Is it?
It's
yeah.
really different.
It's pretty
He
different.
sounds like a worm.
Yeah.
Like,
Also-
Yeah, it's not even like that. It's
No.
yeah.
it's kind of weird.
It's the same kind of weird that Kermit's voice gives me
Yeah,
currently.
it's the Matt Vogel.
It's just not right.
It's the Matt Vogel of Yoshi voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
But I liked the trailer. I
thought the trailer was fine. We get to see the little Sugar Skull guys from Odyssey.
Yeah,
actually
I like
pulling
the-
a lot of stuff from Odyssey into
I
this.
like the Tostarena guys.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the Super Scope is a little too on the nose.
Maybe a little.
Yeah, but it's blue. It's not like the actual gray one.
Yeah.
Also, in that same shot with the Super Scope, we have Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. So I'm like, there's something there, I guess.
Maybe it's a flashback
Maybe it is, yeah.
because Yoshi did technically deliver them to their parents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
technically.
And Peach did talk about in the first movie how she was a baby who came to the Mushroom Kingdom and she doesn't remember where she came from.
That was like the most interesting thing about the whole movie. I was thinking about that yesterday. Of all the things in the movie, and most of it is pretty predictable and uninteresting, which is my biggest gripe with it. That one thing was the most interesting thing they did in the whole movie, was kind of hint at what Princess Peach's origins are.
You didn't really like the movie.
No.
I thought it was a perfectly fine family film that introduces the characters. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. But it was a little predictable. So my predictable answer is Peach is just from Earth. She's just from Earth, and somehow
Probably
fell down a tube.
That's
about it.
The warp pipe was in the sewers underneath New York.
Yeah. At least she's not, her dad isn't like the king who's also a bunch of mushroom fungus.
That was Daisy.
Oh, that's right. That was Daisy. You're right.
It was only a bunch of mushroom fungus because Koopa hit him with the de-evolution ray.
De-evolution ray, yes.
The Super Mario Brothers live action movie is what we're referencing.
Which I believe was built by Mark Mothersbaugh.
Which was also a super
The
scope.
Devo gun? Yes.
That was also a
Very
super
nice.
scope.
Very nice. It was a super, and that was just a super scope.
Yeah.
They weren't even hiding it. No.
It was the only actual Mario item in the movie.
No, there's a ba-bomb.
Oh yeah, the ba-bomb. The
There's a
ba-bomb. The
Yeah.
ba-bomb. Yes, I forgot about the
I
ba-bomb.
think that was my favorite part of the movie as a child because it was the only thing I recognized.
Recognizable.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Because the Goombas don't look like Goombas.
No.
I like how Mojo Nixon is Toad.
Yeah.
That's
For the
fun.
one, yeah.
That's fun.
It's fine. Sure. Sure. He was in it for like 2 minutes.
Is Mojo Nixon
No,
still-
he passed away a
Oh.
few years ago, I think.
They should have had him be Toad in the new,
He
in the
should
new
have.
movie if
But
he was still
you know
alive.
what? Keegan-Michael Key does a fine job.
That's true.
He does a fine job.
That's true. I don't mind.
I
his
like
Toad at all.
I kind of like his jealousy toward Yoshi in the trailer.
I do too. It would be funny if. What if it's Jordan Peele is Yoshi pitched all the way up?
Oh my god, that would be.
Can you
fantastic.
imagine?
That would be
It's
fantastic.
absolutely not, but
No,
can
but
you
that
imagine?
would be pretty good.
Birdo's in the
Birdo's
trailer.
in it. Yeah.
and Mouser.
Yeah, Mouser
Yeah.
looks weird though.
Yeah,
Well-
he obviously got hit by something. At
Nobody
least an egg or
knows
something.
who Mouser is. We're the only three that know who Mouser is.
I actually like Mario too.
His sunglasses don't look as cool.
Well, they're also like smashed on his face.
Yeah. Did you ever read the officially unofficial webcomic sequel to the Mario Brothers movie? It was actually written. It was taken from a proposed script of a sequel
No.
and it was basically Wart came in and took over and had his jackbooted thugs that were Shy Guys, and Mouser was like his top scientist, and like this whole. It was Mario 2, but through the lens of that live action Mario movie.
I wonder if Mouser will say anything and if he'll have the German accent
German
that he did on
accent.
the cartoon.
Oh, did you see?
Why does my brain just go, yeah, Mel Brooks could be Mouser? Hey, why not? Stunt cast it.
I hope that Birdo is voiced by a trans person or at the very least a drag queen, but
Yes.
they won't.
I know they won't, but
They're
maybe they should.
Birdo probably
Because
won't.
they're cowards.
too cowardly.
They're
Yeah,
cowards.
Birdo,
Yeah, I agree with
Birdo
that.
probably won't even talk.
probably not.
Yeah.
Even though she talks in the Game Boy Advance remake of Mario 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's got 3 or 4 voices. Everything talks in that game. The game never shuts up.
I would love to see a remake of Mario, like a Mario game with Wario and Waluigi, and they ride around on a Birdo. I think that would be a cool, like,
I thought
parallel. Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought for sure they were going to introduce Wario and Waluigi in this movie.
I have a
but
feeling
so
that's going
far-
to be the third one. I
Yeah.
bet you that's going to be the third one.
Yeah, it's never going to end.
No.
The third one is going to be a movie version of
Mario Tennis.
no,
Just like I just like the way you said it's never going to
it's
end.
never going to end because this one's going to make $1 billion too, and it's just
Oh, sure.
The third one is going to be a movie version of Mario and Wario, the game where Mario has a bucket on his head.
I'd be fine with that. For the entire movie, it means
Yeah.
Chris Pratt can't talk.
It's just his muffled voice underneath
You know
the
what?
bucket.
The third movie should be Luigi's Mansion or Mario is Missing.
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion.
Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah. Completely
Things-
different take.
Things are going helter-skelter in Luigi's Mansion.
Good night, everybody. We killed
That was
Sam.
good. That was good. Yeah, yeah.
Spore do Ranch. No, that's not.
No, that's not. That's nothing.
No.
Spandau Ranch.
Spandau Ballet.
I think the joke. I think the joke reached its peak.
I think so. All right, so there was another Nintendo Direct. They've been doing a lot of like
Mini
directs
directs.
for like one thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird. They're like drip feeding stuff.
Or even just like dropping a video out of nowhere, because all
Yeah.
the stuff we got for the Mario Wonder DLC
it was just dropped.
Yeah.
But Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Living the Dream.
Yes.
They had it was like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
lasted a long time.
It was like 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. The game looks dumb fun.
It looks like Tomodachi
Yeah.
Life.
In this game, you use the Mii face creator to create a bunch of characters. They suggest, hey, people that you know, that's creepy. Don't do that. Just make them
Yeah, because
weird
That's like
celebrities.
that's like making
weirdo
Sims.
monsters.
That's like making Sims of somebody you have a crush on.
Yeah,
'cause
don't do
they'll,
that.
They'll start dating and doing weird things.
weird
that's
stuff. And
uncomfortable.
no, don't do that. But you populate an island in this game with these people, and then just kind of let them do their stuff.
Yeah, nudge them in different directions.
There's
and-
barely any gameplay to it, but
It's more like a, I don't know, social simulator.
it is. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like a social simulator.
It's somewhere between Animal Crossing and Sim City.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
No, it's fun to turn the. I remember playing the 3DS version of it, and it was fun to just turn it on, and you sit there for a few minutes and watch them interact in weird, super weird ways, and then you turn it off and you move on.
Yeah.
It's not a game that you spend a lot of time in.
They live their lives without you,
Yeah.
which is interesting in a kind of like, I don't know, soap opera kind of.
It is kind of a weird soap opera.
Anthropological kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you do like nudge them together, like push them towards each other and see what happens. and
Uh-huh.
it's not completely hands off.
No, but
no.
it's mostly
and you can
hands-off.
design the island and populate it and
Yeah.
build it.
That's the new one.
I was
yeah.
surprised by just how editable everything is and
Oh,
how
it's
it lets you draw
really,
things.
yeah.
Until then I saw that there's no online features at all.
Oh,
So that's why.
that's why.
Because it's not leaving your game.
Yep.
So do whatever,
Do whatever
you
you
want.
want.
Draw
yes.
as many wieners as you want. Because no one else is going to see them.
Yeah.
The weird teddy bear person they made for the video.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
that was just them showing, do whatever you
you could
want.
do what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about that clown? How about
Hugh
clown?
Morris.
Hugh Morris, he's taken the internet by storm.
Yes, he certainly
There,
has.
there was fan art of Hugh Morris mere minutes after the direct was over.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I forgot how fast the internet works.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the fact that everybody in the trailer was in love with Hugh
Everybody
Morris.
loved Hugh Morris, the clown man.
Like, people
Yeah.
were, like, coming out from under the Ferris wheel seats and
Dr. Winters.
Dr. Winters.
Yes.
I'm honestly surprised the other guy didn't show up.
Patrick.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
Patrick.
no, the game looks fun. It's
Oh, yeah.
going to be
Also, it's all
overpriced.
text to
Yeah.
speech.
Yeah, it should be $30, but
And it's gonna be-
but it's $60.
It's going to be 60, and that's too much. It's
Mm-hmm.
too much. But
For that type of game, definitely.
what I miss is Miitomo. Do you remember on your
Yeah.
phones the Miitomo?
The
the watered down version of it,
Oh.
kind of.
the Nintendo survey device.
Basically, yeah. But it was fun.
It
was
was cute.
stupid. Yeah.
I
for
think
what it
I
was.
think I had it for an afternoon.
Yeah. We gotta fly through a couple of these. There's a trailer for the Ghost in the Shell remake.
Oh, we didn't watch it.
Oh,
I did.
Josh,
How
talk
was it?
about it.
So, Ghost in the Shell is getting yet another remake, another reboot from Science Saru, the people behind, my favorite anime, Dan to Dan.
And about 100 really good anime movies.
Yes,
yes.
yes.
They're a really good studio. They do really high quality animation work.
From what I saw, it looked like it's kind of more leaning toward the style of the manga, like artistically, rather than some of the other stuff where they got kind of far away from the actual general look of everything.
I love that. The original movie is so good.
Oh, the original movie is fantastic. Did you ever watch the sort of remake of the movie where they kind of like replaced a bunch of stuff with CGI scenes?
No.
It was weird. I didn't care for it.
I never watched the sequel either.
Oh, Ghost in the Shell 2 sucks.
Okay, I won't
Don't
watch it. I
Don't
won't
watch it.
Yeah.
then.
If you're gonna consume any other Ghost in the Shell media, I recommend the Standalone Complex series.
Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes of that. That one
I really liked
good.
it. Plus, you just fall in love with the
Tachikomas?
the Tachikomas. Yeah, the little blue robot spider robots.
I might have
yeah.
seen like every episode of Standalone Complex, but not in order.
No, because it was on Adult Swim.
Yeah.
And it would just be whatever they wanted to play.
It would just be background noise for
Yeah.
me, basically. A lot
Same.
of those shows were.
Same here. Yeah, it's what I would watch for 30 minutes prior to like Space Ghost or Brack Show or
Or
whatever.
falling asleep.
or falling asleep. Oh, I didn't sleep as a child.
Gundam
You
Wing.
kidding me?
I remember just like falling asleep and then waking up and Inuyasha's on and at 3 in the
Oh,
morning.
yeah.
And
No.
it's always the end theme.
Yeah.
Listen, Inuyasha was like the timer for me. When Inuyasha starts, it's time for bed. Something weird about that dog boy. Is he a dog or a cat?
He's a dog.
I always
He's a
thought he was
dog.
a cat.
He's a dog.
No, I would probably appreciate Inuyasha a lot more now that I have more of an appreciation for Rumiko Takahashi.
Yes,
Takahashi, yeah. Yeah.
The new Ranma series is so good.
it really, really
it's so
is.
funny.
It really is. I love it.
It's so much better paced than the original.
Yeah. Ugh, yeah. Yeah, the original was in the that time of like things were just kind of okay.
Yeah, and there has to be 100 million episodes.
Lots of filler.
Yeah.
So much filler.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. This one's gonna be
I love Shampoo. Shampoo's so great.
yeah.
Ni hao my lan.
Okay, this one's gonna be super fast.
Oh my
Fast
God.
forever. That's right. Fast and the Furious 11 or 10 Part 2, the 12th or maybe 13th film in the Fast and the Furious franchise, has an official name, Fast Forever, and a release date of March 2028. So we have over 2 years to wait to find out what happens to Dom Toretto and his crew
The family.
being taken down by the villainous Jason Momoa, who's basically the effeminate the Joker in it. That's right.
The jokester.
The jonkler.
The jonkler.
He's the jonkler.
There's
yeah.
probably a J car word you could use.
There probably is, but I don't know
The
it.
jackler.
Yes, that's it. You nailed it. The jackler. That's him. So
The car jackler. That works better.
It does.
The car
That sounds
jackler.
less worse.
yeah, yeah. Next up, looks like the book series Cosmere.
Is that Brandon Sanderson?
I believe so. I wish Jordan were here because she read all those books and loves that series. So next time she is on, she'll have to tell us all about it.
Or she can call in.
Or she can call in. That's very true. But as far as I know, it's set in a world where magic is real based on what metals you eat. And there are some people that can eat any kind of metal and get the powers. Sounds interesting. That's about as far as she explained it to me.
Eat lead and get boomer brain.
Yeah,
Nailed it.
nailed it. Jimmy Olsen's getting a series they're going to start filming it in April.
I think we've talked about.
Yeah, I think we
that
talked
was
about
a rumor that this is an official them saying yes, it's going to happen. The first time it was like a rumor.
I hope they make him a little better.
All right. Last thing, the Virtual Boy. Talk
Yes.
about the Virtual Boy.
They announced this a long time ago that the Virtual Boy's coming to Switch Online, and now they've elaborated on it. They said the first set of games that are coming out for them, and I'm surprised they're already dropping. They're dropping Wario Land day one.
The best one.
Yeah, which is like leading with your best thing.
Yeah.
Everything else, who cares? Except they are releasing a completely unreleased, previously mostly unknown F-Zero game. For
That's
the Virtual
amazing.
Boy, which was enough to get me to buy the stupid $25 piece of cardboard.
I hate the fact that you can't play it without it.
I know.
Yeah, that
It's
sucks.
stupid.
That sucks.
You should be able to turn the 3D off like you do on the 3DS and just play it normal. Because I can't see 3D anyway.
I can't either.
Yeah.
It's part of my disability.
Same thing. I have one really bad eye, so it doesn't.
Doesn't really work. Yeah.
All the lenses will do is make it so it looks normal to me.
I do like the fact that you can change the color of the Virtual Boy stuff.
Not at first.
You have to unlock it.
No, they said coming with a later update, the ability to change colors.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, why can't you do that right away? What kind of hard number code crunching do they have to do over there to unlock?
Because the video made it seem like all you had to do was take out the lenses of the headset. To
So
make
you're going to have to buy more lenses?
no, you just take out the lens and you can change the color and not be the red.
Yeah, but that feature isn't going to be in it until later.
It's so stupid. I don't want to stare at a red screen.
Everyone's going to
strapped
get
to
their
my face.
red light therapy, just blasting them.
People, yeah, like those masks.
Those masks, yes, just blasting that red
It's
light.
the cheapest way you can get a red light therapy mask.
You know, it probably is, actually. Yeah, I'm going to wait for a third-party cardboard thing because you know what's going to happen once it comes out.
They'll figure out how to
or
make the label.
someone's going to come up with
Yeah,
a reason.
it'll be a hori. It'll be a
Yeah.
hori.
Like, hey, this is $15 and it
You can
has
buy it at Walmart.
and you can buy it at Walmart and it has a strap on the back of the head so you can just have it on.
I wish I could get the replica because
The
I'm,
nice
yeah.
one.
I'm such a mark for that. That's like something that I would buy if it wasn't $100.
I know.
Yeah.
That's way too much.
It's nuts. It's like if they were to put a Gyromite on the Nintendo Switch Online, but you can only play it with a compatible ROM replica
Yeah.
Rob Robot.
I was gonna say, what if they brought Rob the robot back?
Don't give them ideas.
I know, right? Although I would be tempted by the Rob Robot. That is a good robot.
Even though the two games are objectively terrible.
Oh, they're terrible. Yeah,
And you can find a Rob robot at pretty much almost any flea market.
They're hard to find now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, now that people are like, hey, video game things that are old are worth money.
There was a time when you could get them, like, and most of them were broken, but you could get
You
them
can get them.
for like $30.
You didn't
Yeah.
need a working one. It just had to sit on a shelf
Just
and
had
look
to-
cool.
Exactly.
I remember seeing one at Big Fun in Cleveland that one
Yeah.
time, and it was probably like $60.
I
at
saw
the
one
time.
at Goodwill once. I should have bought it then.
Yeah,
Yeah. Buyer's
remember-
remorse.
I know, I'm an idiot.
Non-buyer's remorse.
I remember seeing a Sega
FOMO.
32X at the Marion Salvo
Oh,
for $15 back in the day, and I didn't buy it. And now that thing's like $100 or something ridiculous.
yeah.
Even though there isn't any good games for it.
No. Ah, gaming.
What are you gonna play on it? Knuckles Chaotix? No, thank you.
Oh, man. You know what? We do have a little more time. Why don't we talk about the Netflix live-action Gundam? It's going to be coming to Netflix. It's getting exclusivity.
I'm not surprised because Netflix got the last Gundam movie that came out.
They love their live action anime adaptations that don't have a great track record.
They don't have the best. I mean, listen, One Piece is great.
Yeah, they did one. They
They
pulled
did One
one
Piece.
off. One Piece.
One piece of
And they
pie.
did a great job. It got me to watch the anime.
I mean, Avatar is technically not anime, but I mean, people seem to like that.
Oh, I thought they flubbed that one.
Avatar?
Or has it not come out yet? The live action Avatar.
It's been out. They're getting
The
ready to have
first
their
season-
second season.
Yeah, they're working on the second season.
Toph is coming.
I thought they messed it up.
No.
No? Okay.
No. No, they messed up Death Note.
Yeah.
Well,
Remember
yeah,
Death Note?
that was terrible.
And they screwed up Cowboy Bebop real bad.
Real bad. Yeah. So we're saying they're batting about 500. That's still over the Mendoza line. That joke's for my dad.
I don't.
Hi,
know
Bread
how
Man.
I don't know how you could miss like the point of Cowboy Bebop so badly.
They wanted the aesthetic, but not anything else, and they even messed that part up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame because John Cho is a good actor otherwise.
Yeah, and he could have been a good. I think the
Everybody
cast
in that they could have been great.
Yeah,
It was all the script.
they had good chemistry.
You know,
and like
I'm glad that Jim got work after The Office.
what? Wait, what?
It's a joke.
I don't get it.
I don't understand this joke.
There was an episode of The Office where Jim.
That's a different
That's
Asian guy.
Yes,
Oh.
that's a different. That's
I thought that was the same guy.
That's
no.
Randall Park.
Was that Randall
Randall
Park?
Park.
That's Randall Park. Boy, this whole section's getting cut.
Yep.
From the broadcast version. Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
boy.
I suck. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
is
terrible.
Ugh.
I thought that was the same guy.
Nope.
That's not John Cho. It was Randall Park.
Nope. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle is
Yeah.
what is the joke you wanted to say.
I know, but
You're like close-up magic guy.
Close up magic guy. Yeah. Oh gosh. But along with that, the Zelda movie is getting Netflix
Yeah,
exclusive,
somehow
which is
Netflix
weird.
that is weird.
wrangled the streaming rights to the Zelda movie already. It
Yeah.
reminds me of back in the day when there was that big rumor that Netflix was going to do a Zelda show.
Oh
Remember
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember that.
I don't know. Maybe there was more truth to that than there wasn't.
Yeah,
maybe
maybe.
they were working on that.
What if Nintendo's not confident in the Zelda project, and that's why?
They wouldn't do. They would cancel it.
They would cancel. Yeah, no, they would cancel it. It is going to come to theaters, and it'll be just okay, and I will be sad that it's just okay. But yeah, well, I mean, Netflix, they're trying to buy Warner Brothers till all are one,
Yeah.
till everything is all Netflix.
There is no way the Zelda movie can be any better than just okay.
Yeah.
It just isn't movie material.
Well, that and there are so many different stories in the Zelda timeline.
can't
There's so,
please-
It's not as
you can't
open.
please everybody.
Yeah.
It's not
That's
as
exactly it.
open as like the Mario franchise or like the Sonic franchise.
Yeah. Like Mario, for all its iterations, it's pretty straightforward. Mario's a plumber. He goes to save the princess.
Except when he's not a plumber.
Except for when he's not a plumber.
Except he
when he's
doesn't even do that in the movie.
No, not really even that.
No,
she saves him more
He
than
saves
he.
his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luigi was the damsel.
Yeah. But
No, I'm glad Luigi seems like he's got more agency in the movie.
Yeah.
In the new movie.
yeah. I mean, let's face it. They're going to do Ocarina of Time with Breath of the Wild bits thrown in here and there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what it's going
They're
to
gonna
be.
hit. They're gonna do all the greatest hits,
It'll
Yeah.
be Ocarina with Breath of the Wild aesthetics.
Yes.
and maybe a little bit of Twilight Princess.
And they're going to
Yeah.
and if they're going to be ambitious and they're going to leave it on a cliffhanger because this first movie I just have a feeling this first movie is going to be Kid Link because Ocarina of Time. It's going to break the after credit sequence is adult Link waking up
Well,
in
no,
the
because the person they've cast is already older than Kid Link.
but
And
Kid
he
Link
looks like
is like 8.
he looks like Twilight Link. The costume looks like Twilight Link.
yeah, well, my point being it's going to be split into two and it's going to be pre the younger Link, pre Ganon taking over and then post Ganon taking over.
So do you think like maybe like the after credit might be like him stepping out of like maybe I don't know the Temple of Time or
it's
whatever?
him waking up in the Temple of Light and Rauru saying, "Hey, you've been asleep for 7 years. Get your lazy ass up. You gotta go fight him.
I mean, it's
You
better,
gotta fight him, Morty."
I guess it's better than being asleep for 100 years.
Yeah. No, that's what I think it's gonna be. It's gonna be Ocarina. It's gonna be split in half, and it's gonna have Breath of the Wild aesthetics thrown in.
Because that's what people know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those are the two biggest ones.
That's what's popular now.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a movie full of I clapped when I saw it.
Yeah.
And the minute Link says a full sentence, I will
Check out.
boo loudly in the theater, and I don't care who knows it.
Boo! Boo this Hylian. Hylian?
Hylian. Yeah, Hyrule, Hylian.
I just don't want it to exist. I don't think it needs to.
I don't think it needs to either.
I would have preferred it animated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they had to do it, yeah.
Yeah. If they were...
Like in anime. Like literal
Yeah.
anime, not...
It should have been a series. For one thing, should have been a series. Should have been an animated series. I would have loved to see the folks who do Avatar Last Airbender do a limited 8 or 10 episode chunk. And it could be an anthology thing where every episode's an hour long and it's a different story from the timeline. Everyone's a different Link. Everyone's a different Zelda. So you have your Twilight Princess episode. You have your
Wind
Ocarina
Waker
episode. You have your Wind Waker episode. I think that would be the way to do it.
Oh yeah. That would be the only way to please everybody, really.
Yeah. If it were me, and I had to, if Nintendo came to me and said, Sam, you need to do pick a live action franchise from our first party, whatever, and you can't say no, and you can't say I don't want it to exist, I would have picked Metroid.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly
Metroid
agree.
absolutely needs to
gonna
be
say the
live
same,
action.
I was going to say the same thing.
Because it's Alien. It's the movie Alien or Aliens with space battle armor.
It's Iron Man
Yeah.
Alien.
Exactly. Yes, it's Iron Man with aliens, and that is such a home run for live action. People who know nothing about the franchise would go to that and go, "Wow, that is awesome.
That's cool."
That's
Yeah.
cool." But Nintendo
Well,
didn't come to me.
excuse
so-
me.
I would have
Princess.
made a movie based on stadium events for the Power Pad.
No. You gotta do track and field.
Track and field.
Rusty's Real Deal Baseball.
Yeah. I love that.
We used to
that game
play-
was so
great.
good.
We used to play the hell out of
That's
that.
such a good game.
It is. It is.
It's a shame there's no way to play it anymore.
Oh, there is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there is. You can.
They should do another one
They should. Yes.
What
Where
was
you
that
made your own baseball bat and then played baseball
with
games.
a divorced dog dad.
Yes.
You bought his DLC games, but you could haggle him for lower prices.
Mm-hmm. You can haggle them down to 99 cents. Yeah.
What was that dumb submarine game they had on the DS?
That's the
Steel Diver?
worst.
Steel Diver.
That, by my opinion, is the worst Nintendo franchise
But
of all of them.
But up until a certain point, everyone needed it because that's how you modded your 3DS. You had to have a copy of Steel Diver because it was so poorly put together that there was an exploit to get into the OS of the 3DS using Steel Diver. I remember this. I owned a copy of Steel Diver specifically for that reason.
It's the most boring
Oh, it's
game.
terrible.
Oh yeah.
The only other good thing that came out of it was the Smash Brothers item that was the gun.
Yeah.
That was the Steel Diver gun.
Oh right.
It started with a slow missile that got
Yeah.
faster as it went across the screen.
Yeah.
Even not a very good gun.
No, it's not a very good item.
No, it's not. Oh, 3DS. Man, do you remember that pink bunny that you played the crane games for?
Yes,
Yes.
the Badge Arcade.
The Badge Arcade.
I like that too. That was cute.
Yeah, it was fun.
I don't mind being nickeled and dimed as long as you do it in a cute,
In a
endearing
cute and
way.
fun way.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that's the bunny and Rusty Slugger from Rusty's Real Deal. Same thing, just an endearing way to nickel and dime you.
To steal your money from your wallet.
Yeah, and you know what? Both of those games, they were very clear about, we're going to stop you today on nickel and diming.
You've done enough.
You've done enough. That pink bunny will, after you spend a buck or two, that pink bunny will just go, yeah, I think you've had enough.
You gotta go home, buddy.
Go home. Yeah, I'm getting tired. I'm gonna relax.
You
Yeah.
can't put any more icons on your 3DS screen. It takes too long to start up already.
Right.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh Nintendo.
yep.
Why do you continue to be my favorite and also the worst?
Yeah.
Your Switch that you can't even customize the color of the menus anymore.
That's one
There's
of the
light
biggest-
mode and
yeah.
dark mode.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that themes never came back.
yeah.
It feels like it should have.
You can't even put a freaking folder on your screen anymore.
No, it's
Your game not on your main screen. You got to go
Good
through
luck.
a huge list of
Try to
everything
find
you've
it.
ever bought.
Mm-hmm.
Even stuff that's not even on the system anymore.
Well, Nintendo is owned by a bunch of old dinosaurs who don't know how game systems work.
Even though they've been doing it for almost
Although,
100
to be fair,
years.
the PlayStation 5 is just as bad.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, man, if you
PlayStation.
download a new thing, it pushes everything back. Ugh, drives me nuts.
When you buy a new thing, it push you back.
Yes, it pushes you back. Though I did, when I was at work today, I did tell my PlayStation to download the Dragon Age, or the Dragon Quest demo.
Yeah.
Because the guy at work was like, it took me 4 hours to beat the demo. I was like,
That
and it carries over to the
that
full game.
tracks with Dragon Quest 7.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It'll take 4 hours to beat the demo, and you'll get in one battle.
One fight. Yeah, it takes a million years before you actually start playing that game. I know. It's my favorite game, and I will.
I haven't played the
Yeah.
demo, but because I know it's good, like I don't
need.
I don't
yeah.
need to be sold on it. I'll just get it when it
I know.
comes
Yeah,
out.
I know it's gonna be.
Yeah, but it helps me
Yeah.
get a jump start.
That's
Yeah.
true.
All right, so we've actually hit time, so let's go ahead and wrap up the show. You've been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You got a comment, a concern, something you want us to talk about, you can send that at staff@nerdoverload.com.
You got a comment or a concern or something you want to talk about, you can call us on the Nerd Overload hotline. The number for that's 412-345-1413. Leave us a message. We'll play it on the show.
You got a comment or a concern, you can find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we put all of our live streams and our videos and all of our fun, all that fun
When
stuff.
we do them.
When we do them, hey, we are not full-time content
Yeah.
creators yet.
Trust me, I've wanted to play Mario 64. I just
Okay,
haven't
okay.
gotten to
So
it.
get this. My Twitch algorithm is messed up because of you.
What'd I do?
I clicked your thing to watch the Super Mario thing, and now I'm getting a bunch of Super Mario 64 content on my Twitch.
You can have worse content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's the only one I want to watch.
And finally, I'd like to thank Parker for helping us find news for the show and David Pencil for our intro and outro. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
And if you have any questions or concerns, you can generally find me at the Speedway on David Street or Walmart.
Go beat him up at the Speedway.
Come to the Speedway if you want an ass
That's
kicking.
kicking.
All right.
Hey,
so that's,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I can throw hands. These hands are rated E for everyone. Let's go.
Honestly, I've been playing a lot of the Banjo-Kazooie, what is it?
Yeah.
Recompilation
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What?
for PC.
Oh.
They like they did with Mario 64.
Yeah.
They made it run natively on PC,
okay.
but Banjo.
Okay.
And I've been
Banjo!
playing Banjo. I've been playing the mod for it. That's
Did you save?
Yeah, I say
Are we still live?
we're live on
Okay.
the internet. Yes,
But
we're not doing the show
I've-
anymore.
I've
Yeah.
been playing the it's like called Nostalgia 64, and it's a mod for Banjo. There you go through different levels based on other games.
Oh.
It's really cool. There's a GoldenEye level. There's a Yoshi story. There's a Yoshi story level that's actually like 2D.
Wait, they've done Hugh Morris before?
No, Jordan is in the chat and is saying, why didn't Hugh ever show up? So I'm pulling up a picture of Hugh Morris. Did you see that Japan actually had a different clown in
Huh.
their direct?
Why did they change?
I don't know. Oh, the UK, US, and Japanese Tomodachi. Yeah, so they must have had different clowns.
That's weird.
Yeah, let me see.
He's not like a scary clown or
No, he's
anything.
he's
just a
fine
jester.
clown. He's a fine
I mean, he looks like
clown.
Pomni from the Amazing Digital
Yeah.
Circus.
Let's see. You know what? We're gonna put a picture of Hugh Morris up on the screen. Give me a sec. Save as.
We need to make emotes for.
Oh, we do.
Subscribers.
We can make emotes.
Yeah.
We just haven't. Let's see. And then I go.
You know, I've heard he's a Hugh Morris asshole.
We could take the sprite art that I did for the game show thing and use
Oh, yeah.
that.
We could.
That we could.
And then we go to Hugh Morris.
One of these days I need to make a puppet.
There he is. There's Hugh Morris. There's our favorite clown boy.
It sounds like a website you used to buy stocks.
It does.
Hugh Morris. Yeah.
Jordan says no, thank you. What? So you get on me about not having Hugh Morris arrive, and yet here he is, and now you don't want him? How dare you? I know
He's here to help you buy stocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's friends with Charles Schwab.
Okay, so
The hot dog suit.
hot dog suit. There is hot dog suit. In Japan, his name was Bubbles.
Ew. It's creepy.
Yeah.
Hugh Morris is more witty.
Yeah.
I like Hugh Morris much better.
Because he's, humor. Yeah.
So, yes.
The Japan one makes him look like a clown from Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Well, he's got the teardrop. It means he killed some guy in prison.
To be fair, Hugh Morris has also done that, but he doesn't have the
He
tattoo.
doesn't have that tattoo. Well, it might
He was
be
never
underneath
caught.
The ink
He was never
tattoo.
caught.
Yeah.
He was never
Yeah,
caught.
He was never caught. That's right.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah. Also, when I first typed in Hugh Morris, it auto-populated the WWE wrestler from the 90s. Hugh Morris.
Was he a clown?
No, he wasn't. He was just a big guy.
That would just
Huge
happen to
Morris.
Be his name.
Huge Morris.
Huge Morris. Yeah.
Huge Morris. Ah.
You remember Mortis
Mortis.
from the WCW? They had a crossover with Mortal Kombat the movie,
I thought.
and it was Mortis, and there was a guy who canonically had ice powers in the ring.
It just makes me think of
See
Faith.
if I can find it.
That
No.
game.
no.
Where when you die, it goes Mortis.
No, this makes me think. Well, what Sam was saying makes me think of
Hugh Jackman's Hugh Jackton.
but no, the WCMA Masters or whatever, the karate wrestling show.
Yeah.
That sounds.
WMAC Masters, Josh.
Yes.
Hugh Jackman's Huge Acton sounds like a Wii game for some reason.
It does. Yeah.
It sounds like a powder you put on athlete's foot.
No, do you remember? Yeah, do you remember Mortis?
Oh God, that does look familiar.
Yeah.
That's tough acting.
Tough actin', tenactin'.
Some kind of crazy money rain. All I know is it's ruining a perfect game of football.
Okay, now it's time for me to put Mortis on here.
We're just gonna fill the screen with all this
We are. Who cares?
dumb shit.
Who cares? This is what people want. This is what nobody.
You know
wants.
what? He looks like Jared Leto's Skeletor.
A little bit, yeah. Oh, he's real tiny. He's gonna live right up here in the corner. He's just a little tiny Mortis.
He looks like the love child of Skeletor and Reptile.
Yeah, kinda. And that was kind of the idea. Oh, and Glacier. Was it Glacier? Was the wrestler? Yes. There he is.
Yeah, okay, I remember
There's
that
Glacier.
too. I remember that too.
The wrestler with canonical ice powers.
They're just like, how can we make Sub-Zero look stupider?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, they're aping the Sub-Zero look from the Mythologies
It's-
game.
They're aping it from Annihilation, the movie, because
Well, that was also from that
from
era.
that game, but it was a tie-in for Annihilation. You will die.
Hate that movie.
Oh, the movie's so good.
Plus, you killed your best character in the first 30 seconds of the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only returning actor.
They replaced Christopher Lambert as Raiden.
Yeah, who was?
Who was? Oh, it was oh God, what's his name? I like him as an actor. James Remar. James Remar, who people would know as one of It's That Guy actors.
He looks like
That guy from that thing.
Yeah.
He looks like great value Clancy Brown.
He does.
Our future president of the United States. Oh no, past future.
Past future, yes. No, James Remar, people would know him as Dexter's dad in the show Dexter, not Dexter's Lab.
The show Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Oh,
I love Dexter's dad in Dexter's Laboratory. He's so funny.
he is. Have you found a picture of James Remar?
I'm on his IMDb.
Because he just looks like a guy. He's one of those It's That Guy actors.
Yeah, he's just a dude.
He was the guy who killed the Phantom's father, who was also the Phantom in the movie The Phantom. He was the bomb in Phantoms, yo.
I love the Phantom.
Not the Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh, that's a good movie too.
Yes, I love that movie.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
You know,
That's a good bad movie.
Yeah.
The Phantom is like one of the only movies that I can think of that I can stand Billy Zane in.
Dexter's Dad Lab. That's what Jordan says. It's the lab where dads are made.
In a bunch of tubes, you have like Professor Utonium,
Yeah.
and then you've got Father from the codename Kids Next Door.
He's got a bunch of clones of his dad in case he does an experiment that kills his dad and needs to replace him.
That would be a Dexter thing to do.
It's more of a Rick thing.
It was more of a Rick thing.
I mean, yes.
You remember that episode where he actually told his parents about it so that they can pilot a 5-person
That's
fighting
the
robot?
The final episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last but not beast.
Mm-hmm. Because isn't he in Japan for
Yeah.
part of it or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a foreign exchange student to Japan.
Yes.
So they can do a whole
Anime thing. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Dexter's
I
Lab.
don't know what made me think of this, but I've been futzing around with PlayStation 2 games a lot because a new, better version of the emulator, the PC X2, came out. I found an X-Files game that 100% plays just like Resident Evil.
Really?
I remember that. I remember that.
With voice acting from
No way.
David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson.
that's
it's
awesome.
pretty sick.
Oh, that's really cool.
Like, I played it for an hour or two, and I'm like, this is pretty... Like, how did I not know about this?
That's pretty rad.
It was,
yeah.
like, written by one of the writers from the show, too.
Really?
I remember that was. I remember seeing ads for it, and that was one of the selling points for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just zombies. The story's just
It's zombies.
alien goo make zombies.
Oh.
But it's...
That's X-Files.
Yeah.
Does it have the lone gunman in it?
I think it does.
Holy crap. I love the lone gunman.
I haven't made it far enough to know for sure, but I feel like I was like going through a walkthrough because I got stuck a couple times.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. When we're talking about survival horror games from like back in the day, I wish they would bring Parasite Eve back.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
I love Parasite Eve.
Yeah.
Well, the first one.
Yeah, the first one. The second one's kind of.
Second one's meh.
Yeah.
It's not bad by any means, but
That first one is great, though.
It definitely lost the plot of the first
little
one.
bit.
It kind of turns into more of a Resident Evil,
A lot of
Yeah.
neat body horror in the original.
Yeah, the pre-rendered like monster body horror cutscenes are so good in the first Parasite Eve, and the soundtrack is real.
Oh yeah.
banger
Well, like I hated going to the Empire State Building though.
for like the dungeon.
The
thing.
bonus stuff,
Yeah.
like going up the
I
floors.
never did all that.
I never beat it. I got pretty far up, but I don't remember. I don't think I ever beat it.
I love the plot so much.
Oh
that,
yeah, it was a very good game.
Pseudoscience, like mitochondria, is the powerhouse.
Hey,
of
I
the
was going to
cell
say
plot.
that's the powerhouse of the cell.
Well, it's like, have you played Parasite Eve?
No.
It's like a monster that can control the mitochondria in people's bodies. Like, in the first 5 minutes of the game, it, like, melts an entire theater full of people there to see an opera.
Oh, that's wow. Okay.
Like, the opera singer has the monster in her or whatever, I forget the gist, starts singing, and then the audience just catches fire.
Wow, that's actually kind of cool.
In the most gorgeous 1998 pre-rendered Square Enix
Oh yeah.
cutscene you can imagine.
Oh, the good stuff.
I don't think they were Square Enix yet. I think they were still SquareSoft.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. It's like right after Final Fantasy VII too, so it's
Oh yeah, they were still hot on the heels of
Yeah.
that.
Nice.
it's
nice.
during the golden era of SquareSoft.
Yeah.
You should play it.
I should play it.
Also
Yeah, I should
the
play it.
golden era of survival horrors on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, even though it plays more like an RPG.
Yeah. It's like Resident Evil with like RPG elements.
It has RPG battles, but you can move freely during the battle.
Oh, okay.
But you have to wait for your ATB to charge to shoot.
To do something. Oh,
So
interesting.
your placement on the screen matters when like avoiding bullets and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Or like getting away from monsters.
Yeah,
Interesting.
but you can't shoot until your ATB timer is charged up, and then you just pick different targets and go.
And then
You
there's
don't
like
aim.
a weird thing with like your sister or something, and or is that two?
No, that's
Is that the first one?
yeah. There's something to do with blood transfusion.
Yeah,
and,
it's a whole thing.
Because the character you are, the New York City cop Aya Brea, she has like magic mitochondria powers. She's like the yin to the yang of the bad
Okay.
guy.
Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah,
Stream
I'll
it.
have to check it out.
Stream
Yeah.
it.
Excuse me.
I wonder if there's an HD texture pack for it.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there is. Yeah. Oh,
Actually, I read the book.
Yeah?
It was based on a book. It's almost like a sequel to a book
oh, really?
that did
interesting.
eventually get translated to English.
Nice.
And it's a lot different than the game.
Okay.
So, like The Witcher.
Yeah, probably. I haven't read The Witcher, but it's still a good book, though. It was a quick read, too.
Nice. Well, we've officially hit an hour and a half, which is the magic number from what I understand.
I don't know. I just got autistic special interests on
Parasite Eve there for a minute.
Vanya.
Yeah.
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 I love that game. It's one of my top 10,
Nice.
probably.
Nice.
It's definitely in my top 10 of PS1 games.
Yeah.
Not that list is terribly hard to populate,
Yeah.
because there was a lot of slop on the PS1.
There was some slop.
I mean, there was just a lot of slop in the 90s and early 2000s anyway.
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
know-
Everything.
They didn't know what they were doing half the
Nobody
time
knew what
with
they were
that.
doing
It
back
was
then.
Wild West. It was all jazz.
On PlayStation 1.
Yeah. Oh, man. Street Fighter Alpha was nigh unplayable on the PlayStation 1. Every round, not even every full fight, every round it had to load in all the sprites over and
Yeah.
over again.
It-
It was like 3 minutes between rounds.
The PlayStation not good with 2D.
No.
Notoriously, you got the Saturn if you wanted to play a fighting
Mhm.
game,
Got the Saturn, that's right.
which was not enough to save the Saturn.
Unfortunately.
Not enough to save Sega.
Also, you had to buy like a special RAM cartridge too.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't great. I don't know. Do we have anything else before we
I think that was my last big retro game purchase before the entire market made it impossible to afford anything.
Oh, really?
Was the Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
I remember trying to decide if I was going to buy a PlayStation or a Saturn at that time. And I was really close to getting a Saturn because I really wanted to play Knights.
Oh, yeah, Nice into Dreams.
Yes. And I really wanted to play.
a game that's fun for about 20 minutes.
Yeah. But
You
it looked,
dodged a bullet.
but
Yeah,
it looked
you
cool
did.
back in the day.
Yeah, I did.
And I really wanted to play the Magic Knights Ray Earth RPG. Because
I've heard that's good.
and I really liked that anime.
Yeah.
So I'm
This
like,
is a Super Nintendo version.
is there?
See, it's got a translation patch too.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. After the Nintendo 64, any game system I got was well after its release date. I think I got a PlayStation 1 as the PlayStation 2 was being launched.
I
got
got
it for cheap.
I got the PlayStation 1 pretty late into its life too, because I got the 64 first.
Yeah.
But then I grew into a teenager who wanted more mature
Oh,
experiences.
mature games.
Yeah, I had to play Resident Evil somehow, and I wasn't playing the 64 version.
No, definitely not.
Oh, Jordan, did I miss you talking about the Brandon Sanderson news? Yes.
Yeah, you did.
We fumbled through that.
Yeah, you should call in or be here next week and tell us more about it, because all I said was it's a book about magic people that eat metal.
Eat metal.
I mean, I didn't say it that dismissively, but that's all I know about it. So
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
you need to
We
be
need an
here
expert.
or call in.
We need an expert.
We need an expert on this. We'll revisit it
this
next week.
this niche topic.
You did it.
I did it. I did the thing.
I tried to read
Hooray!
a Brandon Sanderson book once, and it just didn't do anything for me. I
What
might
el-
have been the wrong one.
What else has he written?
He's written so many.
Oh, so
Oh.
many books.
So many
Oh,
books.
okay.
Like,
I'm practically illiterate, and I know he's written so many books.
I feel like he falls asleep and wakes up, and he's like, "When did I write these? Did I write these?"
He's
in
not
my
Stephen
sleep?
King.
There's 3 books here.
He's not Stephen King.
No,
No,
that's
Steve-
cocaine.
No.
That's not sleep. That's cocaine, Josh.
Stephen King is a better writer.
Yeah. It's like coming off of his bender and is like, "Oh, I have the Tommy knockers now. That's cool."
What's a Tommy knocker? When did I write this?
He woke up out of a fugue state and was like, "Oh, I guess I directed Maximum Overdrive."
I hope I'm not in the trailer for.
Oh,
no!
Oh no!
I love that. That trailer is so unhinged.
Oh, it's so yeah. Do you think we can get away with playing that on stream?
Why not?
Why not?
Worst that happens is you have to cut it out of the YouTube version.
Oh, I don't care. I'll do something with it. I don't know. Let's see. Let me get to. Yeah, I know. Same here.
Oh, my energy drink finally kicked in.
Unfortunately,
we're
mine
done.
did too, and we're not doing the show anymore. Hey, we're going to start over.
And mine's wearing off.
Let's do another show.
Yeah, let's do another one. Let's see. So that is...
Oh, I might have to find that video later.
Which one?
First time watching Hook.
Oh, yeah. No, that... I put these on because I just need background noise, and it's always fun to watch other people react. Because everyone I know we're all very media literate, and I like the feeling of people checking something out for the first time.
It's why people have kids.
Well, yeah. But this one, Jen Murray is actually one of the really good ones. She's one of the ones that it's not faking it. There are a couple that you can, after you've watched a handful of different reactors, you can tell which ones are 100% faking. They're like, "Oh, this is a brand new movie to me. I've never seen a Star War." But there are some that are like, "Okay, no, these people have actually lived under a rock and just have never watched
I hate
films."
when people have not seen Star Wars and they're like proud of it.
Oh,
it's like, "Oh, congratulations, you've missed out on a huge piece of pop culture.
Yeah.
You're so special."
All right, so let's see. How did I do this before? I need to go to.
Oh God.
What's up? For radio or not for radio? Or for stream or not for stream?
It's a big bummer.
Okay, well then maybe not. Perhaps not.
That explains why Marion Cardington Road was closed.
Oh, it's a localized bummer.
Let's see. I would like to put the window capture. Oh, what's media player? No.
You ever watch that Technology Connections guy?
No.
He does really not really long, but like significantly long YouTube videos about just like regular stuff.
Yeah.
Like he explained how dishwasher stuff works.
Well, that'd be interesting.
He convinced me to switch
wait.
to powdered dishwashing soap instead of the pods.
I thought powdered stuff was bad for the dishwasher. I've read that before.
No. It's basically the same.
I mean, my pod is basically powder in a pod.
It's just like a plastic wrap powder, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have a dishwasher?
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of did.
I don't.
You had that portable one, I thought.
Nope. I don't. All by hand, baby. That's why my dishes are stacked up to the ceiling. Anyway, here's that trailer.
Hi. My name is Stephen King.
I don't know where I am.
Hi.
I've written several motion pictures, but I want to tell you about a movie called Maximum Overdrive, which is the first one I directed.
I would recommend Maximum Overdrive as a bad movie.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
I literally saw it there the other day.
Yeah. Good stuff. Any other terrible trailers you want to play while we're doing this?
The one for Equinox.
Equinox?
The old horror movie. Because it goes, Equinox! A lot.
Oh, God, why? I just Equinox.
You know what? You didn't do that on the actual show.
I did.
You did? I don't remember it.
I did. I played that and then we played an ad.
Oh.
Yeah. Is it this one with
probably.
the monster? Yeah.
Also, I respect the hell out of you for having your YouTube in dark mode.
Oh, of course. Everything in dark mode. Better on the eyes.
100%.
Only this man lasts to see him alive. No, Equinox.
Equinox! It does a lot of times.
Between good and evil. The invisible barrier between light
How'd they do
and
it?
the forces of darkness. Supernatural.
You found a rock!
Before your very eyes. As four
Scary
teenage
old man.
boys and girls fight a devil cult for their sanity.
Scary Oldman's
For their lives.
Yeah, on Twitter.
Little souls.
Scary Oldman.
People still...
Equinox!
A story that defies
mean-
logic.
Are there any, like, good people still left on Twitter?
No.
Equinox, yeah, no.
I can't believe it. It was just a fall.
What is the secret
Fall?
of the
Or an
thousand-year-old
equinox!
What are the unspeakable horrors
Oh, no.
conjured by the force
You're
of
looking
evil?
at my eye!
What is the fiendish power of the ring that enslaves?
The ring that enslaves.
What is the one symbol that can hold at bay the hosts of hell unleashed on earth? Equinox.
Fun fact, this is a Criterion movie.
You're kidding me.
No. No, I'm not.
How? Why? What?
In supernatural color.
Begins where Rosemary's Baby left off.
What?
I don't know.
Rosemary's Toddler.
I'm pretty sure it's Criterion.
Let's see.
Because that's where I saw the trailer for the first time, was on 1970 Equinox.
Nice. It's not... I want to play the Human Tornado trailer. Does that have nudity in it?
Yes.
Were there boobs in it?
Yeah, there is.
Ah,
I am like 99.9% sure.
shoot.
Why is the Criterion version of Equinox 2 discs? What?
The other half is for the director's
The
commentary.
director's commentary.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh man. I'm trying to think. There were some really good. Screw it. You know,
$6,500 budget on Equinox.
6,500.
Yeah.
Rosemary's
6,000.
Teenager.
$6,500.
$500.
All right. Okay, we're back. You know, I am going to look up the.
The producer of The Blob. I don't know what version. Which version of The Blob has the really funny...
Yeah,
Yeah, I like how you knew immediately I was talking about the song.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll find that here as well. Duplicate, and then we'll do that. The Blob song trailer, maybe.
My YouTube is always in night mode because I've always got it in an incognito window
Oh, sure.
at work, so I can be logged into 2 different Google accounts at once.
Okay, so what do we say? Is it the Blob trailer 1 or the Blob official trailer HD from
Oh,
Scream
the
Factory?
Scream Factory one.
Is that the one that has the song?
Probably.
Okay. Let me put the window capture back up. Do that.
Oh wait, no, this is a different version, I think.
Or is this the remake?
If it had a mind,
This is the remake.
you could reason with
Really
it.
good too. I actually really like the remake.
If it had a body,
Did I ever tell you when I was younger,
growing in a gym.
every time I saw the TriStar logo, I thought I was getting ready to watch Short Circuit, and I got really excited. And then I would get
Johnny
really...
Five. Oh.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Okay, this is just the opening title sequence, but it probably has the
That's
song
what
in
the
it.
song is in
Yeah.
the opening title, so too. It
It's
was a
a-
nice,
yeah, they did an
nice
okay
drop,
job.
Nice drop shadow on that logo.
Yeah. All right.
Now we're gonna get banned from Twitch.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna check it out. Check it out. And I'm gonna find out if this is the right. If there are.
Are there any
We're gonna scrub
tatas in this
through
trailer?
Very quickly. Okay, and they're not hearing this either. Let's see. this would have been one of the spots if there is.
He made me do it.
Bitch, are you for real?
Oh, do you remember when we got that crappy old kung fu movie from it wasn't even FYE at the time. I think I was like, was it Suncoast still?
You mean Sam Goody?
Sam Goody, yeah, Sam Goody, and it had the trailer for this movie.
Yeah, that's right. Because then you had to find it.
Then
Like
we had to find it.
yeah.
Yeah, it took us forever to find the actual human tornado. I don't.
It might be safe.
I mean, the only boobs are
Covered.
Rudy Ray Moore's. You know what?
Play
We're
it.
gonna risk it.
Do it.
We're gonna risk it. We're gonna go out on this. Here we go, folks. Everyone's favorite. It's the human tornado. And the trailer that we had, it had like the bleeped out the thing, so it made it sound so much worse than what he was actually saying. Like they're trying to edit it, and it was so much worse.
Mission I can't be had. If you crave satisfaction, this is the place to come into this theater as its next attraction is the picture that will put
I still think Eddie Murphy was robbed.
I think he was
at
too.
Oscar time for that.
Yeah.
Because Dolomite Is My Name was such a good movie.
such a good
It
movie.
was so good. About saw it.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna end my life.
It's okay. He's saying it. I remember they bleeped that out. Or they didn't bleep it. There was no. They dropped
just
the
cut
audio
it.
completely.
They just cut
and
it.
it was like so much funnier.
Honestly, I feel like censored profanity is funnier than just hearing it.
Okay, no. Almost got it there. Bad kung fu. Get him. Josh, you've never seen any Rudy Ray Moore films, have you? I haven't forced you to watch Petey Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law,
Nope, that one doesn't sound familiar.
or Disco Godfather. Put your weight on it! Put your weight on it! Put
like-
your weight on
I feel
it!
like I might have watched. Or did I just watch Blackula?
No, that's not. No.
I know it's not.
Blackula's good. Blackula's good, actually. This movie is co-starring Ernie Hudson of the Ghostbusters.
You know,
Right there.
For as
That's him.
old-
Not him. That's him.
as old as Ernie,
Smacks that lady's butt.
as old as Ernie Hudson is, he is in fantastic shape.
Oh yeah, he looks
Yeah.
great. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, fellow chucker, huh? It's like that. It's like that. It's like that scene from Simpsons. We did 10 takes, and this was the best one.
I hope you enjoyed us on Twitch, because that's probably the last time we're going to be on
time,
it. Yeah.
No, somebody would have had to have seen that.
Yeah. The human tornado.
Hey, if it's allowed on YouTube,
It's allowed on. Yeah. It's fine.
I think it's okay.
It's
yeah.
fine. It's fine. We couldn't play the whole movie.
No,
Absolutely
oh God, no.
not.
Oh, no, no.
That would be like that time that they played the Room on Adult Swim, and they like blacked out parts of the screen. Do you remember that one where it was just like one little tiny corner that they left unblacked out? That was hilarious. Good times.
That's okay. We'll get a one-day ban at the worst.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We're 7 minutes away from 2 hours. Do we want to just kill 7 minutes?
7 minutes?
Yeah, we could do 7 minutes. We could vamp for 7 minutes.
Bum bum. Bum bum.
We can-
bum, bum,
we can
bum,
keep playing
bum,
trailers.
Bum, bum, bum.
Or I could find some more dropout stuff. Remember that time we played a bunch of Deep Blue Ink animated?
Yeah.
Oh, Macaulay Culkin just made me sad.
I had heard in multiple interviews that he still called her mom.
Yeah, that was
Like,
the tweet
just-
he made.
Yeah.
Actually, this might be Instagram, but do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
While I find funny things, you bum us all out.
Hell yeah. It's the dichotomy. Mama, I thought we had time. I wanted more. I wanted to sit in the chair next to you. I heard you, but I had so much to say. I love you. I'll see you later.
That's really sad. Yeah.
All right, now drop out.
Yeah, and then we're gonna do funny things. Let's see.
The last Make Some Noise was pretty good.
I need to get caught up on it. Jordan and I need to sit down and get caught up. Maybe this weekend. Let's see. We've done David Attenborough's
Thank you for putting
Hate
it on the
Toads.
Plex, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We've done Mad Max Fury Road,
I think
Driver's Ed, Kermit the Frog, Ghost of Christmas. The Horse Girl song is pretty good.
That is a great one.
Yeah. Let's see.
There's gotta be more funny movie trailers. Snake Milk.
Snilk. Let's see. Trying to find. Why am I doing it this way? I can actually go to this channel and.
Yeah, like
Yeah, it's.
you're doing it the hard way.
I am. I'm playing this on hard mode. No thanks to the ocean. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, the no thanks to
yeah.
the ocean.
Yeah, we're just gonna play that.
Our Twitch is now becoming what we do when we're sitting on the couch downstairs.
Pretty much. Yeah. Hey, people, enjoy it. And by people, I mean the 3 or 4 people that watch us.
We can react.
We
to
enjoy it.
content.
Our significant,
Yeah.
our significant
We
others.
can react to this. We're a reaction channel now. Fuck it.
Just say
Thank
enough
you so
so
much,
it's
everyone, for coming.
transformative.
No, thank you, the ocean. We don't know what's in there, and we shouldn't find out. The ocean, we all learn about it. So let's say what we actually know about the ocean. It's big, right?
Yeah.
It covers about 71% of the Earth's surface. 96.5% of the Earth's water is in the ocean, which is basically a monopoly. We should be concerned about that.
That's true.
Wet.
That's true.
100% of the ocean is wet at any given time.
That's a
Dangerous?
very, there are
The ocean
literally
kills
hundreds of birthdays
millions
every
of
year
people
style
per
fact.
period
Yes.
of time.
Yes,
Yes?
Oh my God, he's right.
True. I looked that up.
He's right.
Salty? All the ocean that we have been able to test is salty, but there's so much ocean that it's actually impossible to know for sure. Undefeated in combat. Every single thing that we have done or tried to do to the ocean has failed. Whether we try to take on salt with our desalinization plants, whether we try to freeze it by throwing big icebergs into it, whether we try to vaporize it by heating up the planet, the ocean gets bigger and bigger and more powerful. In fact, there's only one party that has been partially successful at hurting the ocean, and that is the moon. This is, of course, our ally because we put a flag in it. It's unclear
There's that
exactly
one movie where they.
what
Oh,
permanent
it's
damage
Erica.
the moon
Yeah.
is able to do to
Yeah,
the ocean.
RPGs
so
on a
again,
lot of these.
We're not
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
sure. Let's say what we don't know about the ocean, which is basically what the hell is down there. Now, everything that is in the ocean
Danny
can be
Danny
comprised
Darko
into
guy's
three
second
categories.
movie.
We got fish, we got trash,
Donnie Darko.
Donnie
and we have
Darko,
horrible
yeah.
mystery.
Oh.
And this graph is actually
Yeah,
not
I know what
quite
you're
accurate
talking
because
about.
there's way more
Yeah,
horrible
it takes
mystery
place in a future where they
percentage-wise
learn
than
how
there is fish
to
and trash.
derive
Let's talk about
infinite
fish.
power from
We got lots of
the
fish in there.
ocean.
Some we
Yeah.
eat, some would like to
Waves.
eat us. Some look like
Oh.
snakes, some are mammals pretending to be
Where
fish,
there's-
which is baffling.
There's 2.
Now, the
And he
deeper that you
purposely
get in
casted
the ocean,
everybody bad.
the
Yes, he
more
did.
fucked
Yep.
up the fish get.
Yes.
Yes,
Top?
absolutely.
Yeah, at the top we got normal fish. They're
was the
honestly
name of that
kind
movie?
of weird.
I'll look it up.
But like,
Oh,
as far
yeah.
as fish go, fine. Start to get deep, fish get kind of fucked.
Yes.
Now, when you
Get
say
really
Donnie
deep,
Darko, do you
the
mean the
fish get
actor?
unfathomably
No,
fucked.
no.
They start to become what I like to call
It's like
nightmare
Richard.
I
fish.
hate
Look at this fucker right here.
Yeah,
You
Richard
can see
Kelly.
all of his
Nightmare
bones
fish.
and organs. This one looks like Batman Nightmare. Every single one of these things is a horror show. Every once in a while.
Southland
something
Tale.
like
Yeah, I
that.
just found it.
Oh,
It's
that movie's
always
so
something
weird.
that we've
I
never
saw-
seen
I saw a
before,
young
and we
Rock,
don't
and
know
I was
what it
like,
is,
yep,
and
that's
it's always a
obvious.
straight up horror show. These I like to call
He hasn't
deep
made a movie
monsters.
since
Somehow worse than the
2009.
ones
Wow.
before. Now there is one exception, and that is of course reefs. Your applause could not be more misplaced. Now, reefs.
The fuck? I'm trying to support you.
Now, clearly, the ocean loves reefs, right? Because reefs are bright and beautiful. Unfortunately, some of the most fucked up fish inhabit reefs. Reefs got little fish that are rocks with tongues. Reefs got little fish that are snakes. Reefs got Fish that, when you cut them in half, turn into 2 fish. All of these creatures are straight up fucked up. That one in the middle is a fake fish that lives in a rock and swims around. So let's talk about some of the creatures.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's a fake fish that lives in a rock and swims around.
Fake fish lives in a rock.
Oh, I see.
Description of turtles? It's an old man who lives in a shell,
shell.
and
His
can
house
breathe
is hard,
underwater.
Yeah.
It can't breathe underwater. The shell is a rock,
That's what, right,
and it's a swish and it swims around.
Okay, against me now.
I'm being a little bit combative because I'm passionate about this. I just
Yeah,
want
you
you to be
seem mad at me.
I want you to be open to the idea that this reef situation is beautiful to throw you off guard.
Yeah.
I'll try.
That's all I'm saying. I want to get into a few of the specific creatures that live in them. Here's the big one. We're all thinking about it already. This is, of course, sharks, right?
Sharks.
Sharks are cursed creatures, obviously. They have too many teeth. They can detect tiny amounts of blood far away. They eat anything, and if they stop swimming, they die. What I would like you to consider for a second is why the ocean would make sharks. If you think about it, sharks are a warning. Come here and die. That is what the ocean is
People
telling us. with
complained
sharks.
about Southland Tales
There's
being
some other
too
weird
long
things in the
at
ocean.
2 hours and
Whales.
24
Whales are
minutes.
impossible creatures.
Which sounds
They
brief
are-
now.
That sounds
Much
brief
too
now.
big.
Yeah.
They sing songs, apparently.
I like
Okay.
it.
I think we have 10 minutes of it.
I'm going to be singing that on the way home.
And they survive by eating what essentially is underwater dust. Something is fundamentally wrong here, and if you think about it for 3 seconds, that will become apparent. With a whale, the ocean is telling us, I am beyond your comprehension. Now, whales are part of a larger subset of mammals that I like to call the enthralled. These are aquatic dwelling creatures that actively cannot survive in the ocean without periodically leaving it to breathe. But they also can't survive on land. Their very existence is a trap. They scream, I can't live where I live.
Oh, really
Now, all of these messages and all of these very good images are, of course, available at my website, nothankyoutheocean.com. Thank you.
Every directs to the
back one
dropout
slide.
I
store.
would love to.
Yeah.
I find it highly doubtful that the dolphin, after saying, I can't live where I live, would put on cool sunglasses.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
That
not
would be
very
the
nice.
equivalent if your sunglasses only went to here.
Yes.
Yeah, those are linen.
That's not sunglasses.
They're
I can
aesthetic.
still see his eye.
What's the problem here?
Those are sunglasses for predators, not for prey
Okay, so our
animals.
main complaint is these are the wrong sunglasses.
Your t-shirts will not sell, Zach. I don't know how to tell you that.
You should have shown one person this design.
Move on.
You
Move
gotta
on. They'll get back to the thing we all agree on buying merch and I think
Something that unites us.
Thank you. Okay.
Throw that in the
Let's talk about trash.
VIP,
Another thing in the
the
ocean,
very
right?
important
There's a ton of
people,
trash in the ocean.
entire,
I'm not going to
like,
get too deep into the
sweatsuit
Pacific garbage
on the
patch.
Dropout
It's out
store
there.
is
It's our
pretty
fault. It's the size
incredible.
of 3 Frances. Yes, that is the size of France compared to the United States. There's also a fair amount of boat trash in the ocean. When a car breaks down, we have those big machines that like squish it into cubes and put it away. When boats break down, we don't do that. Other kinds of trash, we of course got icky plants. Every single plant in the ocean, without fail, is disgusting.
Thank you.
When they touch you, it makes you feel like you want to die. Some of them grow in forests, so you can't see what's in there. Probably full of bugs, other kinds of trash. Bones. Everything that has ever died in the ocean has
Oh, there's-
left its bones there.
There's cute, make
So
some
why
noise
is it
pajama pants
that we
on.
almost
Nice.
never encounter bone trash?
Trash.
Something is eating the bones.
Is it the sharks?
I would posit that it is a creature that is too big to subsist alone on dust like we were all told. But where's the waste from this? It would have to go somewhere. Well, I would posit that it has been right under our noses this whole time. Ground down, enhance.
Wait, what are you enhancing?
No way.
Sand.
Sand is not bone
Sand is
shit.
bones. Bones are sand. The whales eat the bones into sand. Sand is bones, bones is sand. The whales eat the
It's
bones.
science.
True.
let's talk about another kind of trash. Fallen civilizations. We love to build by the coast. That's humans and property value. It's what we do. But aside from Atlantis, we don't really talk about all the cities that the ocean just straight up takes. These are just a couple examples.
What's the one on the left and the one on the right?
That's an underwater city, and that's another underwater city.
Okay.
And what's all around it?
That'd be the ocean all around it.
What's the white stuff on top of the picture?
That's the font with the text.
And who are you?
I'm Zachary. No, we've been friends for years.
How did I get you?
You drove me. We carpool.
Did you really?
Yes.
Are you serious?
That's fun.
You live together?
That's cute.
No, slow down. Get serious. No, we don't live together.
How close do you live to the ocean?
40 minutes to an hour.
And the sand is the bones?
Sand is bones, bones is sand. The whales eat the bones of the sand.
Got it.
Let's talk about the last category. Horrible mysteries.
Yes.
So today we've charted approximately 5% of the ocean. It's sort of hard to sort of fathom these numbers, no pun intended. So let's break it down in terms of
Pun
we all-
taken.
Yeah. Don't say that. Pun taken.
Oh, okay. It's hard to fathom. Thank you. Thank you for taking it. Take it,
I
Paul.
took it.
So taken. So given. So let's talk about this in terms that I think will be easier to wrap our heads around. Let's talk Pokemon Ocean. Let's say that our ocean is the Kanto region. Red, blue, yellow. There's 151 Pokemon in it. We found them all. Congratulations. That's our 5%. But now I need you all to remember that our Kanto region, our ocean that we have discovered, doesn't have 151 creatures we found. It has 228,450. And if that is 5% of the ocean, it stands to reason that there are 2 million horrible wet monsters that we have not found yet.
Wow.
Now, how worried should we be about this depends on what our relationship with the ocean is, and I would posit that it is bad. So what can we do? First one's pretty obvious. We need to stop drilling for oil.
Yes.
Obvious, but I think should be said anyway. Let's just stop doing that right now. We need to stop snorkeling and going in there. Now, I know that we as humans love to put on wax wings and fly into the sun or whatever, but it's hubris in the highest form. It's a bad idea. We need to stop immediately. We need to stop laying fiber optic cable in the ocean. We are doing this a lot. Something like 98% of global internet traffic goes through these things. We've laid like 1.5 million kilometers of it so far.
you didn't
Best
know?
case scenario,
You didn't know that?
No.
the ocean breaks the internet. Worst case scenario, the ocean takes the internet, at which point it's just game over. And of course, stop leaving our bones where the whales can eat the bones into sand. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zach.
The last very important people was really funny too.
Which one was that one?
The one with the lounge singer guy. I forget who the guest was.
Oh, it was that. What's her name from Smosh, right?
No.
Yeah, Angela
yeah.
something or other.
Yeah.
She's part of the Smosh group.
I didn't know
that
she was
started-
on Smosh.
Yeah, yeah.
Smosh still a thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. They came
it's-
back a few years ago.
It's different.
It's
than-
very different, but it's still. Let's see here. I got one more. Have I ever shown you the one with Jacob Wysocki?
No, but
which,
he's very funny.
He is very funny. It's the which cryptid is the chillest to blaze with?
Oh yeah, we've seen this.
We
one,
have seen
I
that
think.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Is there another?
We've watched
good one?
the cookout one.
We've watched the cookout one. Yes. Oh, you know what? The Hank Green standardized the grocery store is actually pretty funny. Do you want to do that one and wrap
Sure.
up with it? All right. All right. Let's do it.
I like Hank Green. All right, he's okay.
He's fine. Yeah, he's fine. He's funny.
Wow, thank you so much. I think that there's something that we don't talk about enough in our society,
Thank
something
you.
really lovely, and magnificent, and wonderful, and probably quite close to your house. It's the grocery store. It's a building that contains, at minimum, thousands of individual edible products, and also seasonally, sometimes water guns. But the problem with grocery stores is that they are all different, and they need to be standardized.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
99.99999% of all grocery stores are not my grocery store, making almost every grocery store in the world an unfamiliar grocery store. My grocery store, I can get in and out 15 minutes. An unfamiliar grocery store, that might easily exceed 30.
Yeah.
Why does this matter?
No,
Oh, you're going to die.
Yeah.
And you do not
No,
want to
to spend
spend what
any
little
time-
time
any
you
more
have
time in a
left
grocery
here on
store
this
than
earth,
exactly.
wandering the
Yeah, I was at
labyrinthine
Walmart earlier and
aisles
I
where like
wanted
some
to
kind of
just
modern
start punning
Theseus,
people.
except instead of a minotaur at the center, it's your wife's preferred brand of cream cheese. Now, I will say that many grocery stores have figured out a fairly standard perimeter. The outside you walk in, there's going to be plant parts.
Yeah.
Mostly edible, though sometimes not.
Oh.
Additionally, you're going to run into animal parts.
No.
After that, you might find stuff that came out of animals. Increasingly, also plant-based imitations of stuff that came out of animals. Also, plant parts processed into baked goods, and plant parts processed into what I, internet science guy Hank Green, like to call mood-altering drinkables.
Ooh, my favorite.
Yes. But then, inside the middle of the store, there's an area that I like to call how to get my life worse. This area of the grocery store is organized in many different kinds of ways. Here are just 5 of them. Number 1, like items with like. And this is how you think everything is, but it's not. You also have how they're used, like when you put the caramel with the apples. You also have where they are from. Oftentimes you might get a Hispanic aisle.
Dale.
Increasingly, occasionally, you'll find half an aisle that's dedicated to 60% of Earth's people and 30% of its land area, Asian. Thank you, Chris. Sometimes, but not always. There's also specific need, like your vegetarian food, your gluten-free food. Increasingly, you might find an aisle that's called healthy food, which does ask questions about the entire rest of the grocery store. But our last category here, they paid to be there. There are many shelves in the grocery store where the people will pay to have their products featured. I actually reached out to some people who design layouts for grocery stores for this presentation because I don't fuck around. And do you want to know the thing that made me the most angry of everything that I heard in those conversations? There is a relationship between the time you spend in the grocery store and thus how much money you spend in the grocery store and the legibility of the aisle signs.
Yes.
They used to put the aisle signs on the end of the aisle so that you could see as you were walking by. Now they put them in the middle of the aisle so you have to turn and look down, and they make the sign just far enough away that you have to take a couple of steps into the aisle,
you might
and
as
then
well
you
just keep
turn
going.
and you're like, this is the wrong aisle. But am I the kind of guy who would eat chicken skin crisps?
Wow.
But now comes the greatest trick the devil ever pulled. Did you think you were going to get out of this store without a AA battery or a Rolos? Get fucked.
Right.
You're in the checkout aisle now, motherfuckers. This is the section of the grocery store where I think to myself every time, you know what, Daddy does deserve a York peppermint patty. Did you want to know about the love lives of a celebrity that you can't quite place? I'm getting manipulated from the moment I walk in this store to the moment I leave, but this problem can be solved through standardization. You might be thinking, but Hank, grocery stores are all different sizes. There's tiny ones and big ones. They have 1,000 items. Some have 50,000 items. There is an institution that's already solved this problem. Allow me to introduce you to fucking libraries.
Wow.
Tiny and gigantic, and all of them can handle way more items than any grocery store in the history of Earth. Not even the lost grocery store of Alexandria has more.
That's cute.
How they do it? The Dewey Decimal System. And that's
Yeah.
right, I am
Dewey
proposing
Food
a
System.
Dewey Decimal System of food.
Wow.
Perhaps the Chewy Decimal System.
I was hoping that's where he was gonna go.
Yeah. I'm into it.
I brought you merch!
Yay!
What?
Chewy Decimal System shirt! Chewy Decimal System hat!
Up here, in the rafters.
Throwing shirts! Everybody likes when you throw shirts!
I love it.
Yeah.
Should have invested in a t-shirt.
T-shirt cannon.
There's mugs!
I'm so easily convinced of anything.
Now, you might not be familiar with exactly how the Dewey Decimal System works, so I will explain it
No,
to
I
you.
don't. That's fine.
There's 0 to 999. Every 100 digits is a different category. 100 to 199, that's philosophy and psychology. In a bizarre twist, all of literature is in the 800s. You can fit everything in because the Dewey Decimal System, unlike the fragile Earth that we for now get to call home, can handle anything. Let's look at a cookbook. How would you find it? Well, cooking is a technology, so it's going to be in the 600s. Why is cooking a technology? You can find out in a book at 025.431, which is where books about the Dewey Decimal System are categorized according to the Dewey Decimal System. So 600 for technology, 641 for food and drink, 641.5 for cookbooks, 0.56 for specialized cooking, 0.563 for healthy cooking, 0.562 for cooking for kids.
Oh my God.
Now, you might be thinking, Hank, who's going to figure out how to categorize all of these foods? I already did it.
Yeah, of course you did.
I'm not going to go through all of this for you right now, but I will say that when I first put pets and babies in the same category, I felt a little weird, but the more I thought about it, the more sense it made. That's right. Does this solve all the problems I have with grocery stores? Yes.
Wow. That's actually that.
No, you don't know where jelly goes in the grocery store because you're not really quite sure what jelly is. Yeah. But we do know for sure is that jelly isn't really food, it goes on food, and that is the 600s in my system. So you might go to 610 for spices, 620 for salsas, 630s for salad dressings. You got to go to 670s for bread toppings, specifically 675 for jellies, 675.0 for grape jelly because that's the default, 675.1 probably raspberry.
You're so right.
I have to emphasize, this is like this everywhere. At every grocery store in America, you got spices, salsas, dressings, mayos and aiolis, nut butters, jellies, honeys, and syrups. In that order, in the 600 aisle of every grocery store, if you hit a nut butter and then a honey, you know there's no freaking jelly in that store and you can stop looking.
Wow!
Some of you might be thinking, but does that mean that the salsas aren't going to be with the chips anymore?
I was thinking that.
That's the world we live in now!
Fair.
Some of the time the salsas are with the chips, but probably only the name brand ones that paid to be there. Some of them might be in the Hispanic aisle. Some might be with the dressings and the condiments. In increasingly unhinged situations, they're with the produce. We can change this for our children and our children's children, and most importantly, for me.
Oh.
Any questions?
Wow. Hank, what an incredible presentation. What about salsas that are fresh, that need to be in the refrigerated section, and salsas that are shelf stable and could last 300 years?
Yeah, this is also the case for any refrigerated item. So with the refrigerated items, you're going to have a separate section that is for just refrigerated, and then the code is going to take over from that one digit. So if the salsas are, for example, 620.5, then it would have the refrigerated digit in the first and then push all the other digits over.
I'm being completely honest, this is the only thing that's ever made sense to me.
So when you go to the grocery store, do you go to a bunch of drawers and pull out cards and look for what you're looking for?
We don't need to, but we should anyway.
There are so many niche products in grocery stores these days. How many decimals do you tend to go out?
You can go out as far as you want.
Wow.
I sometimes buy books, periodicals, Archie magazines at the grocery store. So would there be like a separate Dewey Decimal System within the Chewy Decimal System?
You're in charge of that.
I'm on it.
Oh my God, Hank, thank you so much for this enlightening information.
Yeah, that was very much a Hank. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. All right, we're back to us now. All right, so that's it. That's show. It's like 20 after 9. We should wrap it up.
Yeah.
So
I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we are like, old. It's time for bed.
9:19.
Yeah.
Holy
right.
F.
All right, everybody wave at the camera.
Thumbs up.
We're leaving. Goodbye. See ya. See you next week. Bye.